Happy Friday, Rotogrinders, 5-ish, more or less. It's 5:03, close enough, sure, why not? 5:03, 2 hours, the start of 2 hours of MLB DFS content. It is a big boy slate, full big boys, 15 games. Everybody's playing baseball tonight. Absolutely loaded. Going to be an awesome one. Going to be a good time. We have Crunch Time, of course, free. If you guys are not aware of it, y'all got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. You get Dave Potts, two-time millionaire winner. You got DerekCarty. I got two-time millionaire winner Chop. I got one-time millionaire Andre. This is the most millionaire winners possible. I think we can load up. No, probably Squirrel, probably won $1 million too. I imagine, maybe, possibly. A lot of millionaire winners here in the Rotogrinders family. Chopper, it's a Friday. What's going on, dude? How are things in your world?
I'm fine over here, Dean. Getting ready to play some baseball tonight and watch a little basketball game. And I mean, I didn't want to say nothing pre-show, Dean. I wanted to keep it because I wanted it to just be totally organic here.
Here it comes.
Man, what is that thing?
Oh, it's
you got growing on. What is that caterpillar, that blonde caterpillar on your face, brother? Come on, man.
It's gross. Yeah, I went in the store the other day. People look at you differently. It's not a level of respect. I think there's concern. I saw some concern on some faces.
Yeah, people are like clutching their children to make sure you don't put them in the shaggin' wagon.
Hopefully that's not what's going on. But yeah, well, we had a whole conversation about mustaches a couple weeks ago. Myself, yourself, and Kirk, I believe. And the chat had a good time with that as well. And I was inspired. I was shaving, and I'm like, let's just see what we can do. And now I'm kind of sort of pot committed to it. And but yeah, you call it blonde. That will be complimentary. It's like grayish and gross. But I don't know.
I thought you were dyeing it. That's gray hairs.
Oh no, brother. No, I'm not dyeing this at all. I might just to see what it happens. Like this is real. Like this color that my hair is right. That's how it normally is. And the drapes in the carpet I don't know what's going on.
Whoa, I don't even know that.
Oh God. What a way to kick off the show.
Now's a good time to tell you about your sponsors today. Yeah, we'll tell you about the sponsors in a second. But yeah, Chop, I don't know, man. I'm just having sort of some fun with it. And I feel like a Guess Who. You ever play that game, Guess Who? I feel like a Guess Who character now. Like I just have different things going on with the glasses. Does your character have a terrible mustache? All right. Well, I think I know who it is. But yeah, that's all, Chop. Just having some fun with it.
Yeah, man. Whatever floats your boat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it's not floating necessarily, but now I'm sort of committed to the bit because whatever. Sure, why not? I suppose, but yeah, it's bad. I if you're judging me for it, I get it. Yeah, I don't know how to tell people I'm wearing it ironically though, because I don't know how do I bring that up? They just either know or they don't know, and that's what's going on. The Nestor Cortez bringing it back, Matt Carpenter bringing it back, so it's the year of the stash, Chop. You're not aware?
Oh yeah, I'll let you guys have the stash. You guys can knock it out. Looks good Andre, on you, Dean.
How about yourself, Andre? What's going on in your world? Happy Friday. Ready to dig into this baseball slate. It's big boy, man. A lot going on.
Yes, it's a good one. I'm excited today. I came in full of energy, ready to go. just ready to hopefully win some people some money. Because I'm not playing tonight, on Fanduel or DraftKings. Besides in the contest that you have that you'll talk about a little bit later. Yeah, just happy to get some people to play. It's gonna have some bets out. Get them together now. And so to hopefully win some people some money on that end. And like I said, give out good plays.
Yeah, I mean, you're not playing DFS, but you're going to apply a lot of the same thought processes you have to your bets to DFS.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a crossover. There's a Venn diagram, obviously.
Yeah, because definitely, because honestly, like here's a little secret. I do use a lot. I look at Carty's projections because I love the bat so much. It's won me $1 million. So it won me $1 million playing fantasy. So why can't it win me $1 million sports betting? So I've been applying pretty much the same things. And we've been close a few times. We've been there a few times. So we're gonna get there one day and hit big. So just got to see what's gonna happen, and hopefully those projections, work out for me and work out for everyone. We win a lot of money.
Are you still chasing that? What do they call it? The single game. I'm not in the state where I can bet these things, like the single game prop. What's it called? Single game something. Single game
parlay. I'm chasing. I'm chasing it for basketball, but FanDuel, which I hope someone's listening from FanDuel right now, y'all need to stop limiting people to how much they can with the odds, because I can't get past first place. I'm putting different combinations together to try to get past those odds so I could take over first place and win. But when you can't get that, it's hard to take that down.
By the way, somebody mentioned in chat sporting the Wilford Brimley. I wish this was Wilford Brimley would be shamed to be wearing something like this. I've only I could be that impressive. You talk about the basketball game going down tonight. RG is giving this away for free. Rotogrinders, the DFS showdown tool. If you're playing some showdown for Game 4, Boston. I see Kirk D's in chat. He's super excited for that, I presume. Boston versus Golden State. You can use if you're playing on DraftKings, a single game simulations tool that is free. Go to rotogrinders.com and go ahead and check that out. Also, I guess now is a good time to kind of mention it since we're talking about the basketball game really briefly. We do have a promo code, and I know Will, Chief Justice, did some content on Play Betcha. If y'all are not aware, they're essentially giving away a free square tonight. We're doing air quotes because they set the over under on Steph Curry's threes at a half. And I feel like he's going to have more than a half a three. We'll see. And, of course, if you guys want to play on Play Betcha, go ahead and check out the promo code is Grinders. You can get a deposit bonus, a match all the way up to $200. I know Grant and Tuttle have done some content for that. And if you go to the Rotogrinders Twitter feed, you can find Will's article on it as well. Chop, who's winning Game 4 tonight?
I would say that Kirk Deese is in chat, so he'd be mad at me if I pick the Warriors. I think that the winner of this game wins the series, though. I mean, everything looks like it favors Boston. Yeah, it's tough, man. Boston's the better team. You got the more size, the better athletes. It's going to be tough, but oddly enough, I've been watching Boston this whole time, and these are the kind of games that they lose. Like, they're just really inconsistent like that. So it wouldn't surprise me. If you asked me to put my money on it with the Curry injury, not 100%, and he's like the guy they got. I would say I put my money on Boston, but it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see Golden State win this game.
Andre, your thoughts?
I think I picked Golden State last game to win. I thought they were going to win. Draymond cost me a lot of money that night, but I'm going back to it with Golden State winning this game. This is a must win for them. If they lose this game, the series is over officially, in my opinion. And I think Curry. I was watching film earlier today. So Curry's injury doesn't bother me. I think he'll be fine. And be good to go. Draymond Green just has to play a lot better. Stop trying to play. So I understand you want to be physical, but just a way to play physical without being dumb and fouling. So I hope somehow he hears me with this. Yeah, I think if he plays smart and plays the right physical way, Golden State should win this game, no problem.
Hunter, you mentioned that I'm running a little bit of a contest. We're giving away RG Premium more so these days, especially if you guys are tuning into the shows. And I want to reward the people that are showing up early. So we're going to drop the link now. So yesterday I mushed. I think I was with Kirk Dees. We collectively mushed. Kirk Dees, at least by association, we mushed Carlos Santana. He had a homer last night. Apparently I have these mushing powers. And then I'm like, well, you know what? Everybody can be a mush. You guys can see how good of a mush you are, and we can go ahead and take advantage of that. Get yourself RG Premium. How do you do that? You'll play in the low ball contest. I'm going to drop this link in chat right now. If you finish dead last, you got to finish dead last in this contest in order to win. The goal is to score the lowest amount of fantasy points. All your players, now, let's not get cute and start a bunch of guys in the bench. That doesn't work. That doesn't fly. All your players must start, and your collective salary, you have to leave no more than $1,000 on the table. Just finish last. Get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. And here's the thing. You guys can be in mush too. That's how that works. And I think, Andre, you're going to join as well. I put a team together. Just shooting for the bottom. Let's do that. Let's have a good time with the people. Get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. It's not even just baseball. All the sports, with the exception of NASCAR, F1, USFL, if you're into that thing, the NBA stuff going on, of course, golf as well. Everything. And you have the projections, and you have the ownership stuff, and all the videos and the extra content, the consensus rankings. You got Cheese's article. Go ahead, finish dead last in that contest. Hopefully we'll fill it up early. I don't want to make it too big because I don't want to sit here and beg people to fill it up, but I also want to give away premium to somebody. So there you go. Have at it. Click that link.
I might join, Dean. Dean, I want to join, except for I already get premium, so that's not really much of a reward.
I want a hat.
Well, I tell you what I want.
You can get a hat, Andre. Just ask somebody and they'll give you a hat. Like,
you asked? You've been denied? Yeah, you get plenty of hat. You got to get in Slack to get a hat, man. I ain't seen you in Slack lately. You got to get in Slack. Guys. Yeah. But the reward I want, if I finish first place, I already got the RG Premium. If I finish first, I want Dean to do one GrindersLive show with just half the mustache shaved and half the mustache on. Can we do that?
Okay, which is like down the middle? Like how does that work? Which
you pick the side you want to keep.
Well, then the bit's over. I'm done with it. That's it.
I just grow it back out, but
this is like 2.5 weeks, man. This is a lot of
much time. That's not much time.
But okay, sure. So you're saying if you finished last, not first?
No, first is last.
But the scoring is still the scoring. You gotta scroll down. Like
so they're not reversing it. Oh, okay. No, I thought DK was hooking you up.
No, we're just having fun with it. Like I can figure it out. I can do the math and scroll to the bottom and see who finishes last.
Yeah, okay. I'll finish last. Last is first, though, technically.
Yeah. If you finish dead last, I will shave half my mustache.
Oh yeah, let's do
it. So sure. Go ahead and click that link there in chat, and hopefully we'll fill it up fairly early. If not, we'll go ahead and drop it later, or just go ahead and scroll. Not a lot of weather issues, as far as I can tell. Weather-wise, it feels like precipitation is going to be all good. Of course, if anything changes, we got Kevin Roth. Kevin Roth will come in about an hour and 10 minutes or so. That's why we're getting comfortable as far as this slate. We're here for the next hour and 10 minutes, boys, give or take, and then Crunch Time will take over. You got double barrel on Crunch Time. Two of the top analysts, and Carty and Cheese as well, with Roth taking you guys home on a Friday night. But before we fully dive in, Andre, as far as this slate, do you have just give me like your favorite pitcher, your favorite hitter, and your favorite stack? Like what's the the big screenshot? It's really hard to say. I think it's hard to say favorite pitcher. I guess salary constriction salary also matters too, and we'll talk about it as far as the pitcher in Atlanta. But give me your favorite hitter, your favorite pitcher, and your favorite stack.
Okay, my favorite pitcher on the slate from like just looking at it from a bird's eye view, price considering everything, I low-key kind of like Tristan McKenzie a lot. I definitely do, like against Oakland. They're not that great of a team. I'm looking for him to, and I think, and he's actually a very talented young pitcher that has a lot of strikeout ability and upside. So I think he's my favorite guy that I'm going to look at and try to get get a lot of him in my lineups today. And favorite hitter today, I wouldn't say Jordan because that's normally my guy, but today I really do kind of like Vlad Guerrero a lot. Vlad Guerrero, I think he's going to have a big day today against Rodriguez. So that's my favorite hitter. And favorite stack, I'm not going to say one of these top teams that people are going to have today. I'm going to go a little bit off the board with that and go to a team that I think like they're going to get owned, but not as much. But they definitely have the upside. I think they have the upside, in my opinion, to finish top on the slate, and that's a team that's going to be like 1% owned in Baltimore.
I like it. Yeah, the 9.5 total in that game. We talked about it yesterday and today. Still 9.5. Two bad pitchers, two offenses that aren't spectacular, but I think more action than typical in a game of Kansas City. McKenzie, of course, facing Oakland. You pull up the plate IQ, and everybody in Oakland is just terrible. That's just how it's going. The Woba, everybody is red. Everybody's in the red as far as Woba. McKenzie's fine. He's not a spectacular pitcher, but he's good. He's fine. The Ks are okay, 22%. The walks are pretty good at 7%, but just such a bad lineup there on that side. Chop, I'm going to ask you the same questions before we kind of fully dig in. I assume you've taken the time. You've been delegating in your head. So triple shot, 3 questions. Your favorite pitcher, your favorite hitter, and your favorite stack on this slate.
Yeah. So I would say that first off, I want to say the ownership doesn't matter to me tonight with all the teams in play. So I don't really worry. I'm not really worried too much about the chalk. So I might eat a little bit if it's out there, but I haven't seen it. So my favorite pitcher was narrowed down between 2 guys, but I'll choose Ashby because he looks like a real star, man, eventual star. And I don't mind the matchup at all. If you can avoid Soto, you can get through. So Aaron Ashby, favorite pitcher, favorite hitter. I'm going to say Aaron Judge. It was between Judge and Stanton. You know what? I'll say Stanton. I like Stanton against the lefty, and that leads me into the favorite stack, which is the Yankees. Which is I don't mind eating a little Yankees chalk here because I don't think it's going to be that bad with 30 teams in play and plenty of bad pitchers out there. So favorite stack Yankees, favorite hitter Stanton, and pitcher I really like this Aaron Ashby kid.
So the tricky part with Ashby, like the Ks have been great of late. Obviously, the Ks in the season, have been really solid as well. I think it's second on the slate. You kind of run them all together, 30.5%. The walk's not great, 11%. But Chop, Washington is terrible, right? But the tricky thing is they hit the ball, they pop out, they ground out, they don't strike out, which is that's kind of my issue as far as the Washington lineup. It's not official just yet. We might be waiting on Cruz because he was scratched late. That's possible what's going on because that game starts like in 2 hours. But I guess that doesn't concern you. Right now, the projected lineup, Chop, 16.5% collectively striking out versus lefties, which is just not appealing, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that stat because like how many lefties have they faced with this kind of quality stuff? We don't, you'd have to break me down a little bit more details on that sample size. You said it when you first said it was they're not that good. So they're just not that good. And maybe they just haven't run into the left-handed strikeout pitchers like this guy is. He's really hitting his stride, and I'm okay with not worrying about those particular numbers tonight.
Did you say your favorite stack or did I miss it?
Yankees.
All right. And so here's another question I think it's worth talking about. 15 gamer, do you change your strategy? Are you just who cares about ownership? Because to me, as far as I can tell, there's no clear and obvious. There's not going to be one team. There's so many people playing. Everybody's playing. That ownership kind of sort of doesn't matter to some degree.
Yeah, I don't know. Right? I don't know if you were paying attention when I first started talking a minute ago, but that's exactly what I said. Yeah, ownership really doesn't matter.
I'm reading the chats. I'm multitasking over here. I'm trying to do my best, but my apologies. Every once in a while, I'll just kind of like nap and wonder. I just assume, Chop, you're saying something spectacular and fabulous and clever, and it makes a lot of sense. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's 30 teams.
Yeah,
lots of decent. Like, there's no aces, so it's kind of going to be spread out in that department ownership, and the stacks. There's plenty of bad pitching, so I don't really see ownership being a big deal.
Just pulling up the ownership stuff as far as what we have now. The pitchers, of course, you're going to get greater ownership there. It condenses pitchers just more predictive than bats. That's how it goes down. On DK, you got a roster, 2 of them. So Spencer Strider, as of right now, is our top ownership guy. It's a combination of the fact that he's facing Pittsburgh, who's pretty inept, and Strider this season, some of it out of the bullpen, so might skew it a little bit, but the Ks have been awesome. But it's like 36% or so. So he's getting 30% as far as the ownership. Severino, 27%. Musgrove, 26%. Barria, coming off the incredible revenge game against Minnesota where he has struck out 13. Otherwise, he's been kind of meh all season long. McKenzie, who Andre was talking about is up next, and Ashby. Gibson's the one I'm kind of alarmed about. We'll talk about that in a second. Then Garcia, a couple pitchers that are like good that nobody's going to play. Gallen and Lopez, like less than 5%. I was going to put Walker Buehler in that bucket, but I'm not certain how good he is. It's fine, but yeah, I just don't see myself playing Buehler. Andre, what are your thoughts as far as as I kind of run down the ownership? Strider at 30%, Severino 26%. What sort of pop for you? Like, what's most interesting? What's the one that you think that's like most incorrect? I guess if you were playing 100 lineups or 20 lineups, that you would be well over or well under those numbers.
On a low end pitches you're talking about, right?
Well, no, however you want to do it, whatever angle you want to work on it. Like basically, which one of those would you take a stand on? Either going well over or well under as far as the pitchers. I know you talk about McKenzie, 18% on DK.
Yeah.
Is there somebody that's higher that you think it maybe is getting too much love?
To me, I like actually not really. Like to me, I think it's a little bit balanced. Like I think it's like really like a little bit balanced out. The only person that concerns me just a tiny little bit is the it's really the Strider. Just because like I know he's a talented pitcher, but from everything I've seen here so far, he hasn't gone more than 4 innings. So I mean, it's good on DK. I know the strikeout ability is high there with him, but I can't see myself. I'd rather just not pay that price for him and go down to a guy like play a guy like Contreras, who on the opposite side of that game, when Atlanta has a strike, like obviously they've been hot lately as far, getting better hitting wise lately, but they still have the highest strikeout on both sides of the plate, statistically speaking. So I would try to be a little bit more overweight on that guy, on him versus Strider, and a little bit less on Strider, and also be overweight on a guy like McKenzie going against Oakland. To me, I think that's just a fantastic matchup for him. And Severino, I would probably be a little bit less on him. I know Chicago is a good matchup, and he should definitely be able to get a lot of strikeouts in that matchup. But I would just be at the field with that, or a little bit under, and take some chances on some of these other guys. And I like Berrios a lot too in Detroit. I probably would be a little bit overweight on him.
The Strider thing is interesting because there's no real like aces going tonight, right? But it is weird that he's like the number one guy amongst all these players.
Yeah, and he hasn't gone more than 4 innings. I was looking at that. I'm like, why are people on him like 30%? Even on Fanduel, he's getting about 15%. I mean, I guess hitting matters. I know hitting matters, but I still want a decent score for my pitching.
Yeah, I mean, he was a reliever that they've been stretching more and more and more. So I assume he went 87 pitches last game, 72 before that, 46 before that. So I'm guessing. Let's see what Carty has in the bat on him. I would say about 85 pitches for him, which is not amazing.
What he has, because I have it up actually.
But it seems fine, right? Let's see. Now I'm scrolling. I'm just trying to find it. Where is it at? Oh, he's got him at 79 pitches, and he potentially up to 92, which, okay. And he's just not been efficient. That's the other part of it. 87 pitches. That was Coors Field too. We can kind of sort of somewhat forgive him for that. But the Ks are also there too. 36% Ks in the season. But I do think the guy on the other side is super interesting because they're kind of the same pitcher, like big strikeout guys that will walk players as well. And Atlanta's a good matchup for strikeouts. 28% strikeouts on Contreras, and nobody's going to play him. And I think he's like one of the more interesting, like off the board tournament guys, because Atlanta will strike out, like you said, that lineup 24.6%. Chop, what's your take on that? As far as the number one guy as of right now, ownership wise, and it's also because of salary, he's not that expensive, is Strider. Are you over or under that?
Are we talking about DraftKings?
What are you playing? You tend to play.
I'm
more
on FanDuel. Okay, so he's not that owned on, not like that on FanDuel, which is obviously because you only got a one pitcher site. But if I was playing on DraftKings with that ownership, boy, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one, Dean, because he's a guy that I identified as a real nice tournament play tonight. I wouldn't play him in cash, but tournaments, but not at that ownership, not on DraftKings. No. He's kind of, I mean, he's going to remain in my player pool, but you're right. That ownership is a little high on him. So I'll probably be underweight on him. And and look for a guy. Personally, I'm with Andre here. I like Tristan McKenzie a lot. I don't think he's going to get the ownership he deserves. I'm on that guy. I'll be overweight on that one. I've already talked about Ashby, and there was another one I was looking at here a minute ago. Oh, you know what? Luis Castillo is very interesting to me.
Yeah.
He can win. He just won somebody a tournament last week. He's got that kind of upside. He's coming in way. He's only less than 4% on DraftKings. He's
not going to get played.
Yeah, I like something like that. I'll be way over on. And whoever just mentioned Contreras, that's another really good one. People will be scared off of a team total against him of over 5, but this offense isn't that good. And this guy's a good strikeout guy. I like that call.
Yeah, I think the Contreras thing is like one of those clear, like, talk out of both sides of your mouth. Like, you can absolutely play Atlanta and you can absolutely play Contreras if you're running a bunch of lineups. What are we doing, Chop? Are we running like 150? Sometimes you have a good time on a Friday night.
Friday night, you go 150. Sure.
And it's even like $7 now. I think it's even more expensive. You made it. You made that work.
They're draining me, man. Fanduel getting me. They're trying to get all their money back.
I prefer 7 over 444 anyway. I think that's a
yeah. But I mean, you say talking out of both sides of your mouth, with that Atlanta / Contreras thing. But I did a little segment this morning with Squirrel Patrol, who's one of the best. Like, you always see his name up near the top in GPPs. Really good. And I asked him about his strategy on a night like tonight. He said he's just going to go down, and it's weird, Dean, because you'll love this one. This is right up your alley. He said he'll just go down and get 5% of every stack. Make sure he has at least 5% of every single stack. I was like, are you serious? Like, that's one of the best in the game, and he's telling you, I can't predict it. I'm just going to go and make sure
Somebody just dropped a link in chat for you, Chop. I'm not sure if you're paying
attention. Oh, my goodness. What is going – I'm worried. I'm thinking that has something to do with Kirk Dees, man, is what I'm thinking. I don't know. It just everywhere he's around, those links pop up, so it's a little bit weird. But it surprised me. A guy like Squirrel Patrol doesn't necessarily take a stand. He's just being very strategic about it, and he's going to get a piece of all the stacks. And so you can play, as you would say, out both sides of your mouth. You can take pitcher and the stack.
When you say is he getting like every well, I mean, he's not here obviously, but was he saying like all 30 teams will be?
Yeah, I think that's what he's implying is he's going to get a piece of it all. If I say, well, who do you X out? This is just strategic questions because it's called a strategy show in the morning, Dean. That's what we do.
That works
for those of us that wake up before 11 a.m. We do strategy shows and stuff. But
I was up last night like 2:00 in the morning watching Hustle.
Like,
so, I mean, come on.
I'm like, well, are you Xing people out? Because I'm Xing out like 10 teams right off the bat. And he's like, no, I don't X anybody out. If the projection isn't high enough, they won't end up in the lineup anyway. So what do I need to X them out for? So, a guy like that runs the numbers and plays the odds, so to speak. And then there's different ways to skin a cat, man.
Yeah. Do you have a thought process as far as like stacks? Like, when you're running your 150, obviously you're not building by hand. Do you make sure to get 4-4? Do you want 4-3, a certain percentage instead of 3-3? I'll ask you first. Go ahead. What's your thought process?
On a night like with this many teams, I've got to have at least a 4 by whatever it is. If 4 by 4s, you could be into the duplication thing, because a lot of people are going to do it, and 4 people from a particular lineups, they kind of jump out. So you may go 4-3-1 with a 1-off, and that's how you get a little bit different. But it's definitely got to be 4 by something on a night like tonight, I would imagine. And for me, I'm the kind, I like to go in there. I like to narrow it down, man. I like to say, well, these are the 6 or 7 stacks I like the most. The rest of these teams I don't want to stack. If you want to give me a 1-off from these guys, that's fine. And but I'll condense my stack pool down to a few teams, whoever I see fit, and then I'll run it from there.
You have a general philosophy on that, Andre? And does it change when it's 15 games and everybody's playing? The slate's huge.
When the slate's this big, I only run full stacks. 5-mans on DK and 4-mans on FanDuel. That's it. So 5-2s, 5-3s, and on FanDuel definitely like 4-3s and 4-2s and some 4-4s.
Okay, so I like that you say my thought process, I kind of go the other way to some degree, and not that I disagree, and I get all of it. And on FanDuel, especially with the correlation there, but my slight issue on 4-4s, and like that's why I like you say 4-3 and 4-2, is that there's going to be more than two teams that have big nights.
I'm not a big fan of 4-4s at all. Like, and a lot of people, and some people are. I'm kudos to them, but to me, that, like you said, it limits your upside to me when you're playing just for two teams to pretty much have to go off, especially on a night like this. This, to me, I'd rather have like at least two stacks of a team and a one-off from another team, and hopefully have all the right players in the right positions and it hits.
Yeah. Like there's going to be three different teams at least that have big nights. There's going to be three different players that are good and well owned to some degree, at least don't, that are, have the ability to bang out two homers. You're just boxing yourself out of that. So I tend to like 4-2, 4-3, that kind of stuff, but doesn't mean two teams can't go nuts, and you take it down with 4-4 as well. So Chop, there's like different ways to look at that, obviously. And you can't, well, with the lineup builder, you can get 40% 4-4 and 30% 4-3 and do it however you want. So yeah, I'm just always curious to hear people talking about their approach on that. By the way, I see TJ in chat. I mentioned Hustle. Chop, you're a movie guy. You've seen Hustle. You've probably seen the Adam Sandler Happy Madison joint.
I was planning on watching it this weekend. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet. But
it came out today.
It came out Wednesday. It's already out.
Yeah, I didn't even know. I'm about to watch it. I was caught up watching Jurassic World. Great movie. Go check it out.
I'm still like 5 Jurassic Parks behind you. I just watched the very first. I watched the one from 1993 for the very first time like a week ago.
Come on, Dean.
Whoa, Dean. Come on now.
There's like 5 since. I can't keep up with all the Jurassic Parks. But
Dean,
TJ,
this week I watched Senior Year. Have you seen that? You ain't seen that one because you're not into that kind of entertainment.
I mean, I know Rebel Wilson. I know what it is.
Yeah, I watched that one. That was pretty entertaining. That was interesting. She's funny.
Yeah, she's fun. I didn't click on that one, but
and I also finished Severance.
So slow burn. You gotta pay attention too. You gotta put the phone down. You can't be on your laptop. You can't be watching baseball. You can't be multitasking. You're watching Severance. Was it worth it? Was it good enough payoff for you, Chop? Because it takes a while to get there.
It's a cliffhanger. You say payoff as if there's not going to be a season 2 or it's over. There's got to be a season 2, right? They left us.
Yes, they've already said there'll be a season 2.
Yeah, it's good so far, but I mean, there's no payoff yet, right? Because we don't know what happens, or I don't want to spoil nothing.
They give you enough to get to wet the beak, I suppose, but yeah.
It's a lot of questions to be answered, just put it like that. But yeah, it's very, very impressive show.
Watch Hustle, by the way. It was Juancho Hernangomez was good. There's tons of good cameos. What's his name? Anthony Edwards is awesome in it. He steals multiple scenes. He's not in it a ton, but when he's in it, he's great. Talking smack to Juancho, it's great. Boban's got a couple scenes that are pretty fun. Sandler, I love his dramas. I'm much more of a Sandler drama guy than a comedy guy, which is probably off the board for most. Especially these days, like the past one, sure, whatever. I can get behind Waterboy and whatever, but there's new comedies that in the last 5 years. Stop it. You can't possibly like those. I guess you can, but yeah, I recommend Chop. We'll check it out and on our YouTube. Watch Hustle. You guys will both like it, I imagine.
Sounds good, Dean.
Nate says Edwards is a horrible actor. Edwards was great.
Edwards is funny. I haven't seen the movie, but I can imagine he's pretty funny. He's a funny guy in real life. Yeah.
Like he's probably basically playing himself to amped up a bit, I would imagine. It's pretty good. And apparently TJ's site, he dropped the link there in chat. His site likes Adam Sandler as well in the Hustle. Click the link there for you. All right. So other pitchers that are worth acknowledging their existence. Chop, you're running 150. Do you know what your pool is going to look like right now as far as how many pitchers are in the pool?
I do, Dean. I do. It's going to be, you ready for it? I'm going to call it the dirty dozen, Dean, because there's a dozen of them.
It's not a baker's dozen? You got 12, not 13?
I got 12 on the dot. And I don't know how I'm going to divvy it up just yet. Who's going to end up making the final cut as far as the big winners here. But, the big ones. Severino. Musgrove, Barrios, I think is interesting. I'm gonna keep Luis Garcia in there. He's been better lately. He's starting to get it together. Tristan McKenzie, of course, Aaron Ashby. Kyle Gibson was a bubble boy. I'm gonna keep him in there for now.
That's a weird one. I want to pause for a second because the tricky thing there is the splits, right? There is one righty in the lineup. You got Christian Walker, who's having actually a really good season this year. But if you look at Gibson's splits this season, really dramatic as far as lefties versus righties, especially when it comes down to Ks. 28.3% against righties. Well, who cares about that? He's only facing one righty. The Ks this season against lefties is 12.6% for Kyle Gibson. Man, that's putrid. That's not appealing, Chop. I don't know what to do with that. And if he's going to be mildly popular, what are we looking at as far as Gibson ownership?
If he's popular, then
it's nothing crazy. 11%,
12%, 11%. Yeah. Okay.
I'd like that. I just look at him for my player pool. I wouldn't play him.
He's a bubble boy. I'm not locked in anything, Dean.
He's 4 on Fanduel, by the way. So that was like 11 or 12 on DK. This stuff changes, obviously. Just a note that we're still an hour and a half out. But yeah, Chop, that's kind of how I feel about him too. Like I don't ever want to be over the field on Kyle Gibson. Like it's not a comfortable feeling, I don't think. But he's cheap, so I get it. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought it was worth.
He's in there. It's hard to X out a guy when there's a 30 teams in play. So that's 30 pitchers, minus the starter, just the 1 inning starters and stuff. But then when the bat, who I highly respect the bat's numbers, and they got him as the 6th highest scoring pitcher tonight on Fanduel. Like it's hard to just X him out, right? So that's going to take time to do that, but I'll go back and maybe that'll happen later. So I respect the bat too much right now to just X him out. He's too high up on the strike. But then there's Spencer Strider. I'm going to keep him in the pool because one of these days he's going to win a GPP. He's going to get loose and he's going to be efficient and he's going to strike out 12 guys. And he's got some good stuff. Zach Gallen, because I'm always going to play a decent pitcher against Philadelphia. And I'm always going to play the Philadelphia offense, even against a decent pitcher. It's one of those both sides of your mouth things. But if they're not hitting home runs, they're striking out. So Zach Gallen's in play. Pablo Lopez, because he's solid, and the Astros aren't a good offense this year so far. They're very, very hit or miss. Walker Buehler's in play, although he's kind of a bubble guy. And I talked about Luis Castillo. That's my 12 guys right now that I'm running with. Nobody else.
The other thing, the Astros, I think, are it's weird. That's your team, man. You're talking smack. Is that like a reverse jinx? You just don't think the Astros are very good?
I think later on in the year they'll be very, very good, and you'll notice right away when they hit their stride. But right now, you're talking about an off season where people got locked out for months and didn't get their normal routines and get to go to the facilities, and then all of a sudden spring training rolls around and it's a very short spring training and it's a veteran ball club who just got off the World Series and has been to the World Series 3 of the last 5 years, so on and so on. They're starting off very slow. This is going to be a very good lineup, but they're not clicking just yet. So as of right now, they're still very much a team you can attack with a good pitcher.
Just checking up on chat. What's up, chat? Do with that like button kindly. Subscribe, turn on those notifications. I guess I mentioned it earlier. I can mention it again. I'm not sure if it failed, to be honest. I have no idea. But if you guys are not aware, I'm going to drop the link in chat again. You're going to get yourself 1 week free of Rotogrinders Premium. It's very easy to do. How do you do it? You score the lowest score. Like, you think your fantasy points stink on occasion? Be the worst. We're playing low ball. Finish dead last in this contest. Here's the hook, though. Your players do have to play, actually start. They got to start, and you got to spend all your salary with the exception of $1,000. So you can leave $1,000 on the table, finish dead last in this contest. You guys say I'm a mush. I say you're a mush. Be the best mush. Put up the lowest score. Try to get a negative. That would be super impressive. If you can put up a negative, that's really, really hard to do.
Dean.
Yeah.
So let me reiterate these rules since I signed. So I have to leave no more than 1,000 on the I can't leave 1,200 in salary on the table.
No, sir. You got to leave.
Wow.
You got to leave.
This is a lot tougher than what you think. You think you're just going to go down and pick a bunch of bottom of the order guys, but it don't work like that.
Well, we're not making it easy for you.
Well,
you got to figure it out, man. You got to figure out who's the most overpriced players.
I need that half mustache Dean day, so I got to try to figure this out here.
What's your strategy? Are you going to spend up on pitchers or just get the 2 worst pitchers?
If I gave you my strategy, then everybody would be duping the team. No, I'll probably.
You're not going to get duped, I don't think.
Yeah, I'm spending down at pitcher. So that's what makes it really tough. Because if you go too cheap at pitcher, it's really difficult to not jam in, is not to not accidentally have some good hitters because you got to be really high price range on your hitters. So it's tough.
I see Dylan in chat saying no Spidey bomb tonight. Well, TJ is lurking, and TJ has access to Spider-Man more so than the rest of us do. So I don't. He usually sets a like goal. I'm not gonna. I'll stay in my lane if TJ wants to do that. If he wants to, drop a like goal and give out some Spidey bombs, by all means, go for it. I like this comment in chat. If it isn't Rush Hour or Con Air, I'm out. That's the only two movies I'm willing to watch is Con Air or Rush Hour. And maybe that's Devin's burner because you guys know, I don't think you're aware of this, Andre, but Devin's favorite movie of all time, every movie that's ever existed, is Rush Hour. And I always give him a hard time about that. Which is,
I mean, it's a good movie, but favorite of all time? We gotta get you watching some more movies out here.
It's fine. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, but like the best ever?
Nah. And since TJ isn't, well, I don't see him in the chat right now, but I'll give out, my favorite superhero is Batman. So we'll do a batarang bomb or whatever you want to call it. I got you.
Who's the best Batman in all the Batman movies? Who's been the best?
Christian Bale.
Oh, I like that. Last night I just started watching Justice League. It's like a 4-hour movie, so I'm breaking it up to like an hour segments of it. But I just got past the first hour.
Oh, is that the director's cut? Like the 4-hour? Yeah, okay. Is that Superman versus Batman? Is that what it is, or is that something else?
Justice League. It's like got Aquaman and Wonder Woman and all that. I don't know.
4 hours.
Yeah, but
it's an undertaking. Yeah. Right on cue, by the way, they said Herbert said before Andre even said that I need Batman bomb. Well, there you go, Andre. It just sort of worked out that way. And Izzy's just saying it's Corey Seager. There you go. It could be Corey Seager. Sure, why not? Michael Keaton. Keaton was fine. I think Bale is the correct answer. Who was the worst? It's Clooney, right? Clooney's the worst.
Probably.
He said it. Like he said it was terrible. He's like, yeah, I stunk in that. That wasn't good. My apologies.
Yeah, I would say probably Clooney. But I grew up in that era when that was it. So, and then when you get to see Christian Bale's, it's just like, wow. Like, especially with the supporting actors around him, it's phenomenal. It was the best. To me, that's exactly how Batman should be portrayed.
He's just on a different level. Period.
Yeah,
Bale is. He's just a good actor. What about the one Bane? That was a really good character. That was really good. That was really well done.
Yeah, really well done. Really, really well done.
He destroyed Heinz Field. Right?
Very cool. That was a very cool scene right there.
Yeah. And I think it wasn't Heinz Ward playing football in that scene?
Yeah, that was the actual Heinz Ward running.
Yeah. Bane, but not a good guy though, right? Is that fair to say? Seems a little misguided.
Just well acted. I'm talking about the acting part of it. Wasn't that Tom Hardy?
Yeah,
before he became too famous.
Can you do the voice, Chop?
No, I've never tried to do the voice.
You can't. Everybody's got a Bane in their repertoire.
Well, what is one of his catch sayings? I don't even remember how it goes.
Nobody knew who I was
until I put on the mask.
Oh no, I can't do the Bane. I gotta rewatch it to do. I gotta know what I'm talking about.
Joe in the chat says Adam West was the best and the worst.
West.
How old was Joe, by the way? Adam West was like the Batman of like the 40s and the 50s, right? Maybe he just likes old cinema. I don't know.
Robert Pattinson.
He was good. He just wasn't
that wasn't that bad. Like I actually enjoyed it. He probably was. He's top 3.
Is he?
I think top 3.
That's a hot take.
And number 3, if anything, because he's not number 2. Because Michael Keaton was pretty good in his Batman. Maybe number 4, because I think Ben Affleck didn't do a bad job either.
Andre, best Joker.
I don't even need to say it. We already know Heath Ledger by far. Like,
yeah,
no one's better than Heath. Like, they should never Joker should never be played in any movie ever again because Heath Ledger was so good at it.
I thought Joaquin Phoenix was great though. No.
Fair
enough.
Overrated, Dean. Overrated, Dean.
Who's overrated? Phoenix?
The Phoenix Joker.
Yeah.
The movie or the presentation or all?
Just him playing that role. That was just. I mean, I know he got into it, and but it wasn't all that. It wasn't all that great. You know the my favorite Heath Ledger movie, Dean.
Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, no, Dean, that's your.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I mean, your mustache kind of reminds me of that now that you say something. To be honest,
it is a good. Man. I saw the movie in the movie theater.
Oh my God! You went to the theater. You had to see the big screen on that one.
You can never get too big of a screen.
Sheesh.
Is it 10 Things I Hate About You? Is that your favorite Heath Ledger movie?
No, what's the? And now I'm drawing a blank on the name of it.
Oh, the one with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, A Knight's Tale. Bingo, man. That's so. I've seen that like that'll come on the TV, and I just got to stop and watch it. I can't not watch it. It's such a good movie, Dave.
So, the one with Billy Bob Thornton is really good too, where he plays his son. God, what's the name of that movie? Monsters Ball. You ever see that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a good one too. It's not a happy movie, but it's a good.
Don't we get the old Halle Berry nude scene in? Oh, yeah.
There's some scenes in that movie. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
John might have hit the pause button once or twice. What was that?
Oh gosh! All right, let's continue this late. Got totally derailed.
We started out like talking about a ton of baseball, and then what happened? I blame the chat. Sure, why not? I'll take accountability. Why not? We're here for the next hour and 35 minutes or so. Plenty of time to knock this stuff out. Andre, give me your final thoughts as far as pitching tonight.
Get overweight on McKenzie. Be underweight on Spencer Strider. A little bit, not too much, like not significant. And play, I would say, be also overweight on Contreras on the opposite side of that game. And play some Luis Castillo. I agree with Chop. That man will surprise you. Like, I didn't think he was going to come out this year and pitch as well as he has. I know he had one bad game last game, but he's not going to be owned. Just make sure you have a little bit of him. He's like he's like my second favorite GPP play.
Chop, what are your final thoughts? I know you've discussed it throughout the show, and I'm probably asking you to repeat yourself, but as we kind of mentioned, some people just showed up 5-10 minutes ago, and they probably well, am I in the right stream? Is this the right show? They didn't hear you talking about pitchers in baseball 25 minutes ago, but give me your final thought as far as pitchers tonight. Maybe your favorite pitcher one more time, if you can reiterate.
Okay, my general thought here on pitching tonight is there's so many of them that you are not going to make my pool if I don't think you have the necessary upside, and I'm willing to take a chance on that, on guys who have been limited in innings. I'll take a chance on them if they got a 35+% K rate. And my favorite one of all is Aaron Ashby. So you got to chase the upside on a slate like this. Ashby's my favorite.
Let's see. Some lineups have come out since we've jumped on the show here. Nelly Cruz is playing baseball tonight. He's in the Nationals lineup. Thomas, Hernandez, Soto, Cruz, Bell, Ruiz, Franco, Garcia, Robles. Marlins, Jazz is leading off. Chop, did you see there's some turmoil possible? I suppose they had like this hour-and-a-half meeting, and apparently
is he a diva? Is Jazz a diva?
Man. Dude, he's
That's
a
what
lot
they're
of fun.
saying.
It's weird. I don't get why. He's great. And he nobody works harder than that guy. I don't understand it.
Well, if he's a clubhouse nuisance, I'd be more than happy to take him on the Astros and
sure
plug him into center field, man.
Well, he'll be too expensive soon enough anyway. That he's going to move somewhere, right? That's just how it goes down in Miami. But yeah, some article, somebody kind of leaked that, and who knows what's going on there for real. And we're not privy to what's going on behind that clubhouse. But apparently, some players are saying is diva the word they used or implication?
Yeah, I think that's
your guy.
Boiling down to. So we'll see, man. We'll see.
He is he's leading off for Miami. A San Diego lineup came out. I'm just trying to see if there's anything goofy or different in these lineups. And we did lose Otto. He's not pitching tonight for Texas. Also, Garver is not playing baseball. Both of them hit with COVID issues. Tonight, throwing baseballs for Texas. It looks like it's to be Colby Allard. And also, if you all aren't aware, Ronaldo Lopez is the opener for the White Sox with Davis Martin starting that game, or not starting the game, coming in, I presume, relatively short after Lopez. Got to talk to hitters, going to talk stacks in just a second. We do want to mention if you're not playing, you don't like to deal with such things as ownership and that's too much, or you don't want to take on chopping in his 150 lineups, Chop's just going to win it. So I'm just giving away some money. Go ahead and play on Stat Hero. Stat Hero, you're playing against the house. It's a unique fantasy sports platform that allows users to compete only against the house, not against other players like Chopper or Andre. You can participate in head-to-head style contests. For Stat Hero, they're going to provide a lineup, and you just got to go ahead and take it down in a pick-em style contest. If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, do use the promo code GRINDERS, GRINDERS, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Jump into the action today on Stat Hero. Andre, your favorite stacks. Who's really jumping off the board for you when it comes to the sticks?
Obviously, I mentioned my sneaky stack being Baltimore, who I like a lot today. I also do like getting to the other side of the game with Kansas City and like Houston a lot today. The Yankees is up there for sure today. And I'll give two more out that I like. Obviously, I like Toronto, and one more team that I don't know how much they're going to get on. I'm interested in seeing it. It's kind of the Mets. Kind of have a little bit of interest in the Mets. I'm trying to just be like, if I was playing, I would be a little bit different off the board today, and not try to really target a lot of the higher owned teams that most people are going to be on today.
Yeah, we're still expecting Alonso to be out. And like, did Marte officially go on the IL? Like, they're probably not going to be in that lineup, right? Is that what we're looking at?
Okay. Yeah, I didn't hear he was going on IL.
There was rumors that as it first came out, but maybe, that's what 10 days got to commit to. So maybe they give him like 3 or 4. Maybe he comes back tonight. We'll see. But curious to see maybe that's one reason why. Well, it's also a late game, why that lineup is not out just yet. How about yourself, Chop? What do you like as far as your favorite stacks?
I like the powerful Yankees righties. I like that one. And, Toronto will be somewhat popular. I don't know what the projections on ownership look like for stacks, but if they're not that bad, Toronto's fine. A team like Atlanta with a high total, probably be far underweight on that stack as opposed to the field. I think I got a lot more respect for Contreras than that's telling you. And then you start to get into teams. Milwaukee's pretty good. I think Boston has been pretty decent lately, and gets a left-hander, and there's a lot of guys within that lineup that historically have done well against left-handers, so I can go that route. And I don't know, there's several, Dean. There's a lot of, but those are probably the ones that jump off the most to me.
So would you be surprised, Chop? I'm looking at the consensus rankings of our stacks, and 4 of us did it. Myself, Kirk D's, Dave Potts, Cheeseisgood, and Mr. Tuttle. Number one across the board with Toronto. Then it's Toronto consensus. If you average it all together, Toronto, New York, Milwaukee, KC, and Atlanta. Baltimore. And it's just kind of a mixed bag of like one person nominated Baltimore and Boston and Texas and the Mets. But it seems like the tiers are like Toronto and New York is like number 1 and number 2. Is it surprising that like Toronto's number 1 across the board for everybody?
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pick somebody one. That's just how that goes. We just got the Texas lineup. It's going to look a little bit different, I think, because at least one person was hit with COVID. Huff is catching, batting 5th. Semien, Seager, Garcia, Calhoun batting cleanup. Then Huff, Lowe, Miller, Duran. I was hoping Duran would be a little higher. He's pretty cheap on DK and an interesting little salary saver. And then Walker is batting 9th. Who's Walker on Texas? Walker, Texas Ranger? Who is that?
It's probably Steel Walker, which is a heck of a name.
That is. And then what does Steel Walker do for a living? What would you guess? Probably not baseball. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, Steel Walker is 2K and Duran is 2K. So that Texas is cheap, if nothing else. At least the back end, there's some cheapies there. All right. Let's give our favorite players position by position. Andre, you drew the short straw. I apologize. You got to talk about some catchers. Again, we lost Garver, not playing tonight for Texas. Who are some of your favorite catchers tonight?
Real quick, we also got 50 likes in there. If you want, I'll give you, like I said, the home run call, the Batman battering bomb, whatever you want to call it. Get to 75. Get to 75. I got you with that. So Salvador Perez's guys I like. I catch it today. Definitely with KC in the stacks. I like Will Smith today as well. I think he's a good guy to go with. This Melendez guy, MJ Melendez, has been hot.
He's good.
Been on fire. and he's going against Zimmerman. Like you have to play him today. I think I think his run continues. I think he's a fantastic play today. Gary Sanchez, I don't mind taking him as if you want to go like something like a one-off. I do like Yasmani Grandal too as well. Going against Kobe Allard as well. That's pretty much the main guys. I'll probably use him this position. If I was playing, like I'll be using this position mostly to fill my stacks.
The most popular catcher right now, according to our DK projections, is Alejandro Kirk at 15%, Melendez at 12%, and he's like distinctly cheaper at 3.9K. And I don't think he catches. He's been playing in the outfield, to my knowledge. Maybe he catches like when Sal doesn't, but I don't think he's much. I don't think he catches, but for some reason he gets catcher eligibility. Maybe he did in the minors. A good prospect for them, and he's been, he's got plenty of power. And Zimmerman is not somebody that we're fearing. Chop, what do you think as far as catcher tonight?
Well, Garver was my number one guy, and that's down the drain. But, Salvador Perez was mentioned. Alejandro Kirk is awesome. And I like that. I like that one. And the other guy I wanted to point out on DraftKings, if you like to completely punt it, which is an acceptable, strategy, Stephen Vogt against McKenzie. I like McKenzie, but a guy who bats in the top 5 of the order and less than $2,500 in a position that you're just punting is not terrible. So Vogt as a punt.
Well, I want to show some love to Keith Eister. Keith Eyes, you see him sometimes on the Crunch Time shows. You see him here sometimes as well. He wrote a free article today on scores and odds. If you're into the pitcher prop market, feel free to check it out. He's got 4 props for y'all. And I'll just go ahead and drop that link in chat for the people. A little bit of synergy. Take a look at that. If you're playing on Prize Picks, if you're playing just hitting up the sports books, by all means, have at it. Enjoy yourself with that. And Scores and Odds, you guys aren't aware, premium product. You can get 3 days for free. Feel free to check it out. Get yourself a small sample size, but 3 days free. I believe if you go to the Rotogrinders banner at rotogrinders.com, you can find your way and to get 3 days free of Scores and Odds premium. Andre, you write up stuff there sometimes. Do you happen to have anything out there in any picks for the people tonight?
I have some lotto plays out there.
Give them one. Don't give them everything. Give them just one. Your favorite.
I'll give my favorite from the lotto. Give me a second to look at it because I gotta bring it back up. Gotta bring it up real quick.
By the way, Matt Bush is starting for the Rangers. It's not Colby Allard. So interesting.
All right. I'll just give it. See, it's a home run call, but hey, whatever. I'll give it away. I like Pete Alonso to hit a home run today, as well as Trey Mancini.
All right, weren't you holding out for the Batman deal in the chat? Is a certain number of
you made me give away you wanted me to give a play out, so I gotta give a play. So
I didn't know your bet was gonna be a home run guy.
I mean, it's a 25 leg lottery parlay to try to win the people $1 million. We're trying to win. I don't want to say bank for a Fanduel, but we're trying to win. We're trying to make people a lot of money, make people some millionaires out here. So, we got to do what we got to do. But those are good plays. It's fine. Pete Alonso's a home run call of the day, and so is Trey Mancini. That one is not in the part, and that one is not actually in the parlay. So that's a free giveaway.
Apparently, Bush is going to be an opener, and I guess maybe Allard's going to be coming in. I think that's what's going to be happening. I want to get confirmation, but that's what it seems like in the chat. And yeah, Peter says if he wants to give all his picks, let him. Yeah, sure. I'm not here to restrict you. If you want to give all your picks out, by all means, go for it.
We don't give them out for free. Nothing's free around here. You got to go subscribe if you want to get that free 3-day trial at Scores and Odds, and then go get the picks there.
There you go.
Closed a few times.
Let's jump to a more appealing position. First base, pretty loaded. Chop. How are you narrowing it down? I think for me, I have a favorite guy up top and a favorite guy down low, and it's Vladdy up top and it's Rowdy Tellez down low. Is that kind of where you're at? Do you disagree? What are your thoughts?
Dean, first off, can you spell Kobe Allard? I need to plug it into my spreadsheet. Can you spell Kobe Allard?
It's either is it Colby with a C or a K? I think it's with a K. KOLBYALLARD. I think that's how it goes.
Yeah, sounds close enough.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's got to be precise.
Yeah, it does. All right. So I would say that, Vlad, I'm going to be on the Toronto guys, even if it's not full stacks, maybe they're the 2 or the 3, the 2 off or the 3 off. All right. So Vlad Guerrero, Tellez is phenomenal, like you said. And then the team that's gaining steam for me right now, I'll say Jose Abreu in this category, first base, but the team that's gaining steam for me is Chicago White Sox. Now you're going to be a bullpen game, basically, assuming Allard isn't great and isn't going to pitch a lot of innings. A bullpen game against a middle-tier bullpen at best. So I don't mind the Chicago, and that Abreu is in the mix on that.
So now Chad is telling me that Matt Moore is the possible long man tonight. I don't know, man.
That'd actually be like even better because you got some left-handed mashers in that White Sox lineup.
Matt Moore last pitched on the 8th. He threw 19 pitches. He pitched in the 5th through 17 pitches. So, he's probably not going more than 3 innings. But that's, yeah. So I don't know. Look, I'm trying to multitask, trying to do a show, and it's probably going to be a mixed bag of Bush and maybe some Moore and maybe some Allard. I don't know how much any one of them individually matter. That's kind of where I'm at. What are you doing with the spreadsheet? You're plugging stuff in. How does that? Why do you need to spell Colby Allard? You're doing things that I don't do.
Because I'm advanced, Dean. Got an advancement. No, for the show, I like to have my numbers straight for the show. So I have a little sheet I like to go by. I don't like to be just bouncing around everywhere.
First baseman tonight, Andre. Who's some of your favorites?
I like. Obviously, we mentioned some of them already. Chopped in with like Vlad. And some of the Chicago White Sox guys and other guys. I like Rowdy Tellez. I like Freddie Freeman. Dodgers are not going to really be that high owned, so I think they're a little bit sneaky too. I don't mind a mini stack of them more than a full stack. Trey Mancini, who I told you I love today, he's not getting any ownership at all. Anthony Rizzo, the lefty against Wade Miley. I love him today as well. I like Harold Ramirez, a guy like Luke Voigt going against Cole. I like that matchup too for him as well. And I'll give Ryan Mountcastle as well. Like I said, Baltimore is one of my favorite GPP teams to look at it. And obviously, Matt Olson with Contreras being there too, and go either or.
Hey, did you guys see, either one of you guys see La Russa yesterday walk Trey Turner on a 1-2 count? Anybody catch this?
Yeah. I caught it.
Good. I mean, really, how is he still a manager in baseball? I know he's had his run and whatever. He forgot more stuff than I'll ever know, but good Lord.
He literally forgot more stuff recently than you'll ever know.
But how do you decide to walk somebody intentionally on a 1-2 count?
Because he forgot to count. That's what he does. Dean.
Oh, did he say that? Is that
no? I don't know. Of course not. No, yeah. I'm with you. It's crazy, man. How you've got so many smart people out there in any given sport that are just young and very knowledgeable, and yet people keep turning back to these old geezers, man, who probably should be just take their money and retire early. But I mean, that's a different point. That's a different show.
Hey, Chop, I listened to your show this morning. You referenced it, and you talked about, you did it with TJ and you did it with the Squirrel. You talked about that. You basically said, I know how to fix football. I know how to make the USFL good. I know how to make the XFL good. Just call me. Can you give me one of those? I have ideas too. Maybe we'll get together and form our own league. I know you won $1 million a couple of times. I don't know how much you got behind you financially, but maybe we can figure something out.
Well, a couple of the things I would do is, number one, forget about these old terrible coaches like Jeff Fisher and Kevin Sumlin and these guys. Let's get some young, brilliant, offensive-minded coaches in there, because nobody's paying to see the coach anyway. So at the very least, I want a coach who's going to make this thing exciting. Then I'm going to go after players that maybe couldn't make the NFL but have the higher name upside. Maybe there's some Heisman Trophy winners out there that didn't get to stick around. So I want some names. But I'd base –
Is that like a Tebow thing? Is that what's going on there? Is
something like that. I mean, who wouldn't people tune in to see, some guys like Tebow, some former big stars in college that their name and now they're playing again and things like that. And then basically I'd set it up and and make it very similar. I'd make it like the spring professional version of Big 12 college football. Shootouts.
UCF football.
Or, American Athletic Conference, if that's what, but, I always think of Big 12 when I think shootouts, big offenses, high pace. Let's have some entertainment. I'd make that like a professional spring version of Big 12 football, basically, where, it's just all the games are exciting and good. But there's a lot of things they could do that they absolutely. And you know what? And for God's sakes, man, I'm going to reward the guys who celebrate touchdowns and have dances, choreographed dances, use all the props you want. Let's have some fun with it. You got to do that to start things off.
It's supposed to be fun, and like scoring touchdowns is hard. Like, why not celebrate that? But Chop, you saw that your team, Houston, my team, UCF, we're joining the Big 12. You excited?
It is official as of today. In 2023, we will be part of the Big 12. I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked, Dean. I don't know, Dean. I don't know if you've been paying attention. I know you haven't, but
I haven't.
I can tell you right now, Dean. You got a little extra money in your pocket. You need to put it on the University of Houston to win the basketball championship next year.
Oh, okay. I definitely haven't paid attention to that.
Stacked, and the Final Four is in Houston.
They were good last year.
The Final Four is in Houston this year.
Ooh, home game.
It could be. Yeah, it's going to be a home game. It's going to be very interesting.
Andre, if you have any thoughts, by all means, go for it, or talk about the second baseman tonight.
Okay. Second base, Max Muncy. Is he? Hold on. Well, the Dodgers just came out. Let me see if he's in there real quick. He is. Okay. Max Muncy, definitely in your Dodger mini stacks. I love Trevor Story today. Ozzy Albies, another favorite player of mine. Rougned Odor, someone else I'd love to get to today, as well as DJ LeMahieu. Polanco, Jose Altuve, who Houston's not really getting that much ownership. I know Lopez is a good pitcher, but I'll have a little bit of Houston today if I was playing. And I like Durant today.
Jazz is 1% on DK, 5.7K. Garcia is a good pitcher too, but man, 1% on with his stolen base and power potential. I just play him as a one-off. I don't mind something like that. As far as our ownership stuff on DK, the highest number we have is Vidal Brujan, because we live in the world of a salary cap. He's batting fifth versus Smeltzer. Also, good hitting weather in Minnesota. We saw it yesterday as far as the ball's flying out. 3 in a row off of Cole to start the game. I think he gave about 6 dongs in total. It was a lot of homers. And the weather looks like it's conducive to banging out some homers again tonight. So I like Brujan at 2.2K as a nice little cheapie. Chop, what do you have as far as second?
Yeah, I was gonna mention Muncy too. He's the home run yesterday. Maybe that sparked him because he's not been good for a while now. But Muncy, Marcus Semien, I don't mind that matchup. Texas got there, and then Trevor Story. I know Marco Gonzalez is a quality pitcher, but Story pretty good, notoriously against lefties. So I'm willing to take a shot on some of these Boston righties against Marco Gonzalez tonight.
This is a random question. I'm not really sure whether they're asking, Chop, but I'm going to ask it on their behalf. Your favorite Jordan Poole movement?
No.
Did he go to college in Houston or something? I have no idea.
No, he went to college in Michigan.
Did he score against Houston?
He's referencing, I think it was a 2016 or 17 or 18, whatever, when Jordan Poole hit the buzzer beater in the tournament to beat Houston. Yeah, that's what
I didn't know that.
He's trying to rub some stuff in, but all I got to do is look at where Houston's ranked this year compared to where Michigan is. So I ain't worried about that.
All right, let's jump to third base. And again, we got the crunch time crew coming in about 15 minutes or so. You all get to DerekCarty, you get Dave Potts, you get Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. I'm not sure if he updated his weather article, but last I saw, there was really nothing goofy going on. Let's just give a quick look. And again, he'll give some more clarity if there is. Nothing but yellow, green in St. Louis. Possible late start in St. Louis. We'll see. Stay tuned. Everywhere else, yellow in Detroit. Roth will talk about that soon enough. What do you have at third base, Andre?
Third base. Okay, third base. One of my favorite plays, Jose Ramirez going against Blackburn. Love him today. Another guy, Manny Machado, I like Devers. Brandon Drury, who's going against Palante. Goodness, sorry.
No worries.
Let me cut that off real quick. But Brandon Drury, I like taking him if you're going as a one-off just because he has some power. And he's been hitting the ball pretty well lately too. Brian Hayes, if you think that the Atlanta I don't think this is too crazy. Brian Hayes I think is a good hitter, so I don't mind him. If you want to go with like a mini Pirate stack with just some good hitters there, Josh Donaldson as well, Justin Turner, a guy like Jake Berger, whoever going against whoever the Texas pitcher is going to be. Whether it's we got Bush in there now. I don't know who it is, but So I don't think I mentioned Duran before too. On the opposite side of that game, I don't mind taking a shot at him. That's really pretty much it. Oh, Moncada too as well. Sorry, he's all the way down here.
Biggest ownership number at third base on Fanduel is J-Ram. No surprise, pretty expensive, but a pretty good big spend as well against Blackburn. 20%. Muncy seems underpriced at just 2.9K. Came back yesterday, banged out that 3-run homer left on left, despite Tony La Russa and his brilliant managerial move. 17% for Muncy. DK wise, as far as the most popular third baseman, we have J-Ram again, 17%, which just hard to get to, but I get why you want him. I like him too, which is I don't know if I have one big spend. Is that the guy? I'm not sure. Gotta like Jace Peterson if you're playing cash games tonight. Probably not a great play for your low ball if you're playing low ball because he's 2.4K and just cheap against the Washington team starring Fetty. Good ballpark to hit in. Then it's LeMahieu, Machado, Devers. It's just kind of a mixed bag. What do you have, Chop, as far as third base?
So you mentioned Jose Ramirez. I love that one. I would say that, Dean, there's not a lot in terms of BVP tonight, but I guess if I had to choose my BVP player tonight, it would be Eugenio Suarez going against Rich Hill. So
what's the sample size?
I'm on 10 at-bats.
Oh, boy. How many homers?
2. Actually, too, that's not bad, but that's neither here nor there. You don't need to know the sample size. You don't need to know the home run. You just need to know that my metrics say that it's a fine play. Now, there's a lot. If I just there's guys with 30 plus at bats tonight, but I'm not going to talk about those because I don't believe in those. I mentioned Suarez because I like it as a play, and then the BVP just happens to back it up. So that's what we're talking about. That's how I play that out, but. You got Suarez. I like Josh Donaldson tonight against Wade, one of those righties in the Yankees that I like. And Bobby Witt. Bobby Witt Jr., I think he's starting to come around a little bit. I can get behind Bobby Witt, and that's where I'm at third base.
Remember when Witt was 2K on DK start the season?
I don't remember that because I don't play DK much, but I get it, though. He's good, though. He's good. He's getting there.
All right, let's jump to shortstop. Chop, you want to start us off as far as shortstops and firing up DK ownership wise? Who's popping for us? Again, Brujan is available at short and second. Makes a lot of sense as a salary saver. They're pushing us to a lot of salary savers. Luis Urias batting cleanup tonight against Fetty is 3.4K. If you want to spend up, I like Bichette a good bit. Adames at 4.4 is kind of sort of in the middle of a cheapie and a spend up. I believe he's 3K on FanDuel as well. I think Milwaukee's one of my favorite teams tonight. See what we have as far as ownership on FanDuel for shortstop. It's Seager and Adames. No surprise. Seager just ahead of him. Then Bichette, Urias, Jimenez, Trey Turner's kind of pricey. Story, of course, you could always roster. West Coast, that Boston lineup, not out just yet, but I presume he'll be in it. Chop, shortstop, what do you have?
The Adames ownership is weird to me that he's that highly owned, on this big of a slate. And I don't know. That's just weird, but yeah, I'm with you on Bichette.
Second, he's cheap.
Well, I guess he's cheap on DraftKings, cheap enough to propel him up there, but he's not that much of a value on FanDuel, and he's still going to gather a bunch of ownership. It says so. Weird, but Bichette's one of those guys. Corey Seager, I like Corey Seager tonight. Francisco Lindor, if you make, we don't have a Mets lineup yet, right?
No, they might be waiting on Marte.
He should make it, though. Yeah, if he's in the lineup, I like Lindor. And then my last guy I would say is Carlos Correa. He's a very streaky hitter during the regular season. Hit a home run last night. Still gets the favorable weather tonight. It's not too imposing of a matchup. So I don't mind Carlos Correa.
All right. Andre, shortstop?
Ahmed Rosario, Corey Seager, Bobby. We mentioned Bobby Witt. I love him tonight. We mentioned Carlos Correa. I love him. Bogarts. I don't mind him. Also, Jorge Mateo, who's not going to really be owned, but this pitcher, like, I'm gonna have to reiterate how horrible Heasley really is. He is horrible. Like, granted, I don't know how he got that many strikeouts against Houston last time, but this guy is horrible. So just play. I like Baltimore a lot today. I would just run them out all day. But yeah, Jorge Mateo against them for sure.
So Heasley, just to back up what you're saying, 25 innings, not the massive sample size you necessarily want, but it's what we have this season. The walk rate is higher than the K rate, which is troublesome. 15.4% walks, 12.8% Ks. Sierra suggesting a 6.3. His ERA is 4.62, but the xERA is 7. He does not look very good. I don't think he's a bit of a prospect. He's been lucky as far as left on base percentage, over 81%. So certainly Baltimore. It's everything's going to be lost on this slate just because it's so big. But that Baltimore KC game is kind of sort of somewhat sneaky, I would say. I just pulled up we're playing the low ball contest. We're giving away 1 week free of RG Premium, and it's not full. Like, I guess I haven't mentioned it enough. I don't want to beg for people to win 1 week free of RG Premium, but it's only like half full right now. Maybe I didn't make it. Maybe I made it too big to start the people off. Maybe they're not aware. They don't get the rules of low ball. It's pretty simple. Again, gonna drop the link in chat. Just make a lineup as you normally would, but you're trying to find the lowest amount of points. Make the worst team possible. You finish dead last in this contest. The link is in the YouTube chat. As you click on that link, also click on the like button. That is appreciated. You finish dead last here, and you get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. Now, don't be cute. Don't be slick. You got to start players. All your lineup have to be players that are actually starting the game. They got to start the game. And you have to spend all your salary as normal, with the exception of you can leave $1,000 on the table. So knock this out so I don't have to beg and grovel the rest of the show. I don't want to be that guy. And I'll tweet it out. It's going to be a whole process. Save me some time. Sign up for this and get yourself 1 week free of RG Premium. All right. And Chop's in there too, right? You're in there, Chopper?
I have entered a team, Mr. Reed, Andy Reed. You look like Andy Reed with them.
Dude, I wish I can. I mean, look, again, it's an insult to Andy Reid to suggest I'm even anywhere in his territory. The greatest punt, pass, and kicker of all time. Andy.
Oh, man. I think Andy was sporting that mustache when he was in that contest.
They drug test him for that. That was like one of my favorite pictures in sports history of all time is Andy Reid, like the 12 or 11-year-old, like punt, pass, and kick competitors. If you know the picture, it's just phenomenal. Do yourself a Google search on that. But you guys both knocked out shortstops, right? I'm pretty sure. Yes, possibly.
Yes.
Correct.
All right, Andre, who do you like in the outfield?
Obviously Byron Buxton, Aaron Judge, Yelich, Teoscar's a good one. Let me get to some of these Baltimore bats in the outfield, like Mullins, Santander, Hayes. I love all of them today. Verdugo in Boston is someone I like to get to as well. As well as obviously JD Martinez, who I think is going. He's got like 5% ownership, or so does Verdugo. Got 4. I mean, got like 1%. And obviously, I'm gonna leave a couple left, but these like as a one-off, Kyle Schwarber as well, and Jordan. You
like the Astros, huh?
I like Jordan. I think he's a great player. I hope he, I know he just signed, but let's find some way to get him to the Yankees so we could, win a couple World Series over here.
Well, I mean, you haven't won enough?
That's not happening.
Who's won the World Series this year, Chop?
The Yankees.
It's not the Yankees.
I hate to say it, but the Astros are going to beat the Yankees in our producers chiming in with the Mets. You know what? The Mets are they can be very, very scary if they can get back Jacob deGrom healthy, man.
Yeah.
That's scary for a playoff series. But
they have, that's the way they're performing without him. It's phenomenal.
But everything's judged on a 7-game series. What are you going to put out there in a 7-game series on the mound for starting, and then the bullpen to back them up? And that's what I go by. So I feel good about our pitching down in Houston. We'll see how it plays out, though.
The number one play project for me is like when you factor in opportunity matchup, leading off on the road in a good spot, good ballpark, rough pitcher, 3.2K Christian Yelich on Fanduel to me is like the best play, and 4K Yelich on DK is the best play. Of course, baseball things happen and it's a massive slate and you don't have to get a ton of it necessarily. But like if you're playing cash games, I think he's the first player you plug in. You do not play him in low ball, I don't think, unless you want to be a contrarian in low ball. Nobody else is going to play him in low ball for sure. But Chop, some of your favorite outfielders.
Andre hit on them, a bunch of them already. I like that Judge-Stanton combination in the outfield for the Yankees, attacking the left-hander right there. I like the J.D. Martinez call, attacking another left-hander. And this goes along with the Story and the Bogarts play and the good righties against that left-hander. I like that. Yelich, you just mentioned Yelich, George Springer and Teoscar Hernandez, a nice combination there in the outfield for Toronto. And then I'm not seeing a lot of outfield eligible White Sox, but Luis Robert definitely jumps off the page. I have to look at that. Where are they not? Who's outfield? They got some. Yeah, Luis Robert's the best one in the outfield for me, depending on if we get a lefty or a righty too, though. That could be. If we're going to get 3 innings out of Allard or 3 innings out of Matt Moore, that's a big difference right there.
All right, let's give some homers to the people. Chopping on the Crunch Time crew should be coming in momentarily in a few minutes. You got Roth, you got Carty, you got Dave Potts warming up in the bullpen. People like some homers, they like some dongs. What do you have for them, Chop?
Well, let me see here. I'm going to go down and say I'm going to start off with George Springer. I think the power is going to be there right off the bat. So George Springer, give me a White Sox. So give me, let me pull a White Sox. Which one? I guess I'll go Abreu for my White Sox. And then I'm going to say Eugenio Suarez just because Alex Sante is in the chat and he loves my BVP plays. So I'm going to give him a little Suarez. Suarez is going to dong, and I'm going to have to hit him up on Twitter and let him know.
Yeah, a scoreboard. What's going to happen? He's going to hit a home run off the bullpen, and you're still.
It still counts. It still counts, Dean.
It doesn't count. That's not an official.
Bro. It counts because he got to see the ball out of the first pitcher, and that warmed him up.
Alex is a smart guy. I'm curious what his thoughts are on the La Russa. He's a White Sox fan, I believe. What his thoughts are as far as La Russa, his big old walk yesterday on a 2-1-1-2 count. What do you have for me, Andre? See those homers and raise them.
I like Santander to hit a home run today. I want to say I'm just going to say 2 Baltimore guys, Santander, Mancini as well. And then I'm going to go with one more that's a little bit more off the board, and go with the goodness gracious, who do I have here? Sorry, I'm just looking at who I have written down. Oh, okay. Well, I'll just go with them. Jose Ramirez. That's not that's another guy that I have hit a home run today. I have a lot of guys I'm trying to put together multiple parlays in different ways to hit home runs.
So I have something to say already. I just came in here in the middle of a conversation, and Andre says, I like, and he names these 2 Orioles. And then he says, but I'm going to go off the board with this other one, Jose Ramirez. You did it backwards. You did it backwards, man.
I did it backwards. I know. I couldn't think of it down to my list and see what else I have off the board. I'm all over the place right now. Trying to
we love you. Just kidding, man.
Dave, I like how you just come in hot. And I'm going to catch you guys off. I know you probably, I'm sure, are watching the show for the hour and a half previous. We started at 5 o'clock on the East Coast. But one of the things we talked about amongst all the baseball, and I'm sure Carty will be taking, even Roth, all you guys will be taking this. First of all, Dave, Chop said the Joker movie was overrated. That's blasphemous, right?
Yeah. That's a weird thing to say out loud.
I didn't say the Joker movie was overrated.
He said Joaquin Phoenix was overrated.
That's even more blasphemous.
His portrayal of the Joker was overrated.
That's worse.
Wow.
I don't think so. It's an opinion. What we also learned today, guys? I don't know if y'all are watching the full show, but Dean went in theater with a box of handkerchiefs to watch Brokeback Mountain. Now I don't know what's going on there. That's what came out though. Then that's.
I feel like you took some artistic liberty with that story, but
okay, maybe I was off of something, but basically that's what you said.
And he had the stash. And he had the stash to go with it.
That's why he's growing it.
It's an homage. It's like the 10-year anniversary of the movie. I don't know. Yeah. And we also discussed best Batman. And I'm sure Carty, all you guys will have a thought on this. Do you have a snap call on this, Carty? Who is the best Batman?
Adam West, obviously.
Oh my, really? How old are you, Adam West?
How old are you?
No, it's not Adam West, obviously.
I mean, come on, is he not?
No, he is
what
not.
What other Batman movie puts cartoon graphics of the sounds that he's making when he's punching the bad guys? I didn't see that in Nolan's Batman, not one time.
Yeah, because there's been an advancement in cinema technology. You're joking or you're
it's
serious?
Probably Christian Bale. Like, I think he's the chalk answer, but I think he's the right one.
Thank you. He actually is not. But he's top. I think, like, from what I've seen and read articles on it, he's like top like 3. But I think
that's not even. There are not that many Batmans, so like I feel like you better be 1 or 2, and I think he's 1 as well.
It's pretty crazy how many Batmans there have been when you really sit down and look at it.
There's been a lot of Batmans.
Well, I'm sorry, we got to go back. Dean, are you growing a stash? Is that happening?
You can't even really see it, but if you look close enough, it's there.
Turn sideways a little bit so I can see.
I'll give you the side profile.
Yeah, it's
that's
very
good,
like if he colored it a little brighter, it would be very Lorax-ish.
It's an insult to the word stash to say I'm growing a stash, but I'm growing something. I don't know what it is. It's bad, but I'm committed to the bit now. We're having a good time with it. But I was talking to Grant. I'm going to be going to Grant's wedding in a month. He said that's my wedding. He wants me to show up with a mustache, so that's my wedding gift to him, amongst other things. I'm sure I'll get him a DVD of Brokeback Mountain. I have a whole thing I've set aside for him. But people still have DVDs. I don't know. But at some point we have to talk. Well, Roth, is there any weather out there or not really? Somewhat, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, there's a couple of games with a chance for a delay. Detroit and St. Louis. I don't know how interested we are in pitchers there. Scale of 1 to 10, Dean.
Detroit and St. Louis.
Yeah.
No, I'm not really interested.
Hey.
Not no
Jose Barrios.
Oh, yeah.
Jose, and I like Castillo, but it's your chance for no postponement, just delays, right?
Pretty much. I mean, I never say never, but I wouldn't fade bats in any of them.
All right, perfect.
My bad. I was thinking the pitchers for Detroit and the pitchers for St. Louis, but I didn't realize that they were playing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
both teams in the game could see the delay at the same time.
That's true. That is how it works. Yes.
Let us step aside and make way for the FanDuel sponsor Crunch Time. Myself, Andre, Chopper, and thank you for watching the first hour and a half. And now the FanDuel Crunch Time is going to take you guys home. You got DerekCarty, you got Dave Potts, and you got Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. That's going to tell you what's going on precipitation-wise. If anything's changed in the last 12 seconds, we'll see. But Roth, I'm going to make some lineups. Let's go.
Appreciate it, as always. Dino and GrindersLive crew, thank you so much. It's like, is it a mustache though, Cheese? Like when you look at what and
it is. Yeah,
and his hair is
one,
dark.
Yeah,
and the mustache is very light.
That is very true. Yes.
Do you think the mustache is going to darken, or do you think like it's just going to be a light?
No, I think the mustache is like the future of what's coming on the top of his head. It's like a glimpse into Dean's future. Yeah.
Oh man, looks good, Dino. Looks good. All right, hey, let's get into it here. This is Crunch Time, sponsored by FanDuel. We got good stuff going on. Of course, sign up at the FanDuel Sportsbook today. New users get a special bonus, $200 in free bets if you make a $5 bet, and you get the $200 regardless of if your bet wins or loses. And if you sign up for Scores and Odds, we're going to make sure that bet wins, because that's what we do on Scores and Odds. It is the Rotogrinders team and crew that you know, love, and trust, helping you out with sports betting. And there are some actual only sports bettors in there as well. But it is a great squad, and we've been killing it over there. All they do is win. So go ahead and check that out if you have not done so. Blessed to be joined by two of the sharpest minds in the game today. We got one, Dave Potts, a.k.a. Cheeseisgood. How you feeling, Cheese?
Feeling okay. It's a big slate. We haven't had many 15 gamers this year. And it's there's a lot to like on both sides. It's a lot. But
is it too much? Is it overwhelming?
Honestly, it is too much. Yeah.
Because there are things that you want to do that you just can't, even if you're max entering. Like I can't.
Yeah. And like, there's not a real clear, this is your top tier. We can forget all this. It's like almost everything on every side is playable. So that's, I don't love that.
Are there vomit stacks? Or they're like, you can. Yeah.
There's really nothing that's completely off the board if you wanted to. I mean, really, you could play 30 offenses and make a case for it.
This is an exciting slate. Okay, I'm looking forward to diving a little deeper on that. Also joined by the one, the only Mr. DerekCarty, the creator, inventor, CFO of the BatX Enterprises. If he were to play Batman, he would be the best Batman. Carty, what's up, man?
That is really nice of you to say.
You could pull off Bruce Wayne. You have a Bruce Wayne look about you.
I feel like I could.
Yeah,
I think I can make it happen.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can pull off Bruce Wayne. I'm unclear on the Batman part.
That's what I was about to say. I see Bruce Wayne vibes. I don't know about Batman, but who knows if the darkness is inside you. How you doing, Carty?
I'm doing well. We got I think this is our first 15 game slate of the entire season today, which is pretty cool. Playing all 30 offenses, like she said, might be a bit of a stretch, but I think there's like 15 you can make a case for sure.
Okay. Well, I'm excited to kind of break down what you like. And Cheese, of course, want to hear some of your GPP takes as well. But we like to, first off, I mentioned the rain, chance of a delay in St. Louis and in Detroit. If you have pitchers there, I'm assuming they're tournament plays, and I think I would just play them, especially if you're okay with a little bit of risk there. As far as hitters go, again, just play them. I'm not going to promise you that the worst thing in the world, can't happen, but I really don't think it will. It would take some super bad luck to get anything worse than a delay. And so that's where I'm at in those games. Carty, let's talk about some of the pitchers and what you plan to do about it. What is the Bat and the BatX liking tonight?
Yeah, so obviously we have a lot of pitchers on this slate. There's really only two, though, that separate themselves in terms of raw projection, and they're going to be probably the two chalkiest or two of the three chalkiest. They're the most expensive. It's Joe Musgrove and it is Luis Severino. They are both really good pitchers. They are both in good matchups. Musgrove in particular is facing the Rockies away from Coors. They're not a good offense. They strike out a lot away from Coors. And so Musgrove is, I think, the top pitcher of the day. In FanDuel cash games where you only get to play one, he's a bit more expensive than Severino. I wouldn't tell you you're wrong to play Severino, but I think you probably just play Musgrove. Over on DraftKings, you're playing, I think, Musgrove for sure. And then you're either playing Severino or you're playing Spencer Strider, who is $7K. He's cheap. He projects as one of the better pitchers of the day, but not quite, not at all on Musgrove or Severino's level. But you get a big discount. He's very, very talented young pitcher. He's facing the Pirates. The matchup is not quite as good as I think some people might assume in GPPs. I think he might wind up being a little overowned. He's a young guy, worked more as a reliever earlier in the year, is not a guy who they generally let super deep into games. The last couple starts he has, but, even in the minors last year, he's not a guy who goes super deep. And the Pirates are getting a big park upgrade. It is some of the better hitting weather of the day. It's one of, I think, 2 games over 80 degrees here. So it's not like this can't miss spot. He's good. He's cheap. He's not foolproof. So I'm fine if you'd rather just spend up on Severino. I'm fine if you want to play him. But those are kind of your 3 cream of the crop type guys today. Then after that, you have probably 10 other pitchers that project very similarly to Strider that you can pivot to in GPPs.
Any of those that stand out to you before we get to Cheese? Is there a guy who's all right, he's cheap and he's going to be almost as good as everybody else, so I want to play this dude?
There's nobody who's going to be almost as good as Musgrove or Severino, at least not on average. But in terms of Strider, you can play a guy like Kyle Gibson is basically the same price point and projects half a point less or a point less or something like that. He's not a guy who has the same stuff. He's not perceived as having the big upside, but he goes deep into games. He's getting more whiffs this year. The matchup's good. The price is good. So a guy like that, I think, is interesting. And then there's going to be guys that just kind of go overlooked because there's so many on the slate. They're kind of at maybe an awkward price point. A guy like Luis Castillo, I think, is interesting. Luis Garcia, I think, is interesting. Guys like that.
Okay, great. Good stuff, Carty. Cheese, let's discuss first what you like for cash. Do you also see it as kind of a big 3 or maybe a big 2 and a close third?
I think on DraftKings, you need salary somewhere. I think Strider is going to be the chalk. I think I would just play him in cash, even though I totally agree with what Carty's saying. Like, you're really rooting for 5 innings, but like, he's the cheapest guy you want to play, and he's more or less as good as everything up to like 9K. So I think you would play Strider. Personally, I like Severino over Musgrove, but that's also more of like, again, I don't play cash. I'm totally looking at it from a tournament perspective. Musgrove is like the pay up for safety on a slate where I don't want to pay up for safety. Not that he doesn't have upside too, but he doesn't really have that much upside. Like, he's not a big strikeout guy. So I don't actually like Musgrove at all. I have 2 Musgrove lineups out of about 60.
And do you think that is very contrarian in the GPP? Like, is there going to be a lot of Musgrove?
Honestly, no. I mean, I think Musgrove and Severino will both be owned-ish. Like, we have them projected at like 25% ownership. I think that's about right. I think Strider is the big time chalk. And I think we're going to see a lot of one of those 2 guys with Strider. That's the chalk. And I think those 2 will be split up. And I just prefer Severino. And then Jose Barrios on DraftKings is going to be the other popular guy. My preference is to go in the middle with Tristan McKenzie and Aaron Ashby. Both together? Of the no, one or the other with one of the cheaper guys, and not even spending up.
Wow.
And then the two Louis, Garcia and Castillo, are both totally playable. But I prefer Ashby and McKenzie around them. Like, I'm just kind of chasing where I perceive the most upside to be, although really the upside's actually all pretty close too. Like, everything about all these guys is pretty close. And I think the salaries on Musgrove and Severino are appropriately high, such that I don't think they're super priorities.
Yeah, okay. I will say Jose Barrios is easily going to be the most over-owned pitcher on the slate.
Okay. Real quick, Cheese, on FanDuel, is there any pricing differences or anything that really jumps out to you?
Yeah, the Strider salary is even more useful. You play Strider, you play any bats you want. You play Musgrove, you're really stretching. Like, you can't do, Judge and Stanton. Severino's a little cheaper. So I think Strider, I don't know. And he's not a great FanDuel play because he's very unlikely to get a quality start. Yeah. So again, there, I kind of like that mid-tier group, even though like McKenzie's not really cheap, but him, Castillo, Garcia, Barrios, Ashby. I'm really splitting all these guys up. But Severino's a little more of a preference for me on FanDuel.
Okay, great. Let's talk about some of the stacks. Geez, you started off by saying you could play everybody, but what do you think most people are playing? Is there a chalk? I'm guessing there's not. And is there something that you're, trying to get a little creative with?
Yeah, I really don't think chalk is a thing. If there's chalk, and to whatever extent there is, I think the Blue Jays, and then like a couple of Yankees and a couple of Brewers, but I don't know if the whole stack. Basically, I think a Blue Jays stack, Judge, Stanton, Yelich, and Rowdy Tellez. Like, I think that's your chalk. I do like the Blue Jays. I like the Yankees. I like the Brewers. And I'm not like concerned about ownership on them. So I'm absolutely playing them. But there's so much to like. And I think the late night games will go under-owned, especially the ones that don't have lineups yet, particularly the Red Sox and the Mets. If Alonso's back in, I would really like the Mets. I also like the Padres and the Dodgers late at night when people like me are asleep. And I like both sides of Baltimore, Kansas City.
Anything else you want to throw in?
I mean, yes. There's a lot more I want to throw in, but it's getting already to be too much. My first 15 lineups were 15 different stacks. And then I was like, I guess I'll make another Toronto.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. It's not usually how I do it. It's just what this slate is to me.
Okay. Carty, let's hear your favorite stacks.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cheese said. There are a lot of viable stacks. There's only a few, maybe 10. I tell you, like, don't do them. Do someone else instead. I think the Dodgers, like Cheese said, are going to go under-owned. They have the highest upside basically on any slate, but they're against Jacob Junis here. Their prices aren't good. They're expensive, but they have lots of upside. So I like the Dodgers. I like the Rangers quite a bit. I think price-wise and upside-wise, I think they kind of check both boxes. They're not going to be very owned here, but I like the Rangers quite a bit. I mean, there's just so many teams. I think Tampa Bay and San Diego are also teams that have a good combination of kind of ceiling and good pricing. And I wouldn't tell you wrong to try to throw a stack in there against, I mentioned Jose Barrios is going to be the most over-owned pitcher. You want to throw a Detroit stack against him, or even a Detroit mini stack alongside, a chalkier Brewers or Toronto or something. Like, I like that. I like the leverage that you get from that.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, very good. Okay, both of you, and maybe you answered this already, but if you got one stack, you're playing single entry, Carty, who are you rolling with?
Jesus Christ.
No.
Give me the Rangers.
Okay, Cheese, one stack. Is it Toronto? You said you circled back to Toronto.
Honestly, no. I can't even fathom only playing one lineup, but I would be. It would be a late night team. I think it'd be the Dodgers.
Okay, and on a slate like this with 15 games going on and at least 15 legitimate stacks, 30 maybe stacks. Are you absolutely 100% stacking if you're trying to win a GPP? Like,
yep. I don't. So DraftKings, I have 60-ish lineups. I have 60-ish 5-man stacks.
Yeah.
Every FanDuel lineup, I've got 20-ish FanDuel. Everyone has at least one 4-man stack, if not 2.
Okay, great. And then I did get one pitcher question before we go position by position. Ronzi Contreras.
Yeah, we both failed to mention him.
Hard pass.
If you're just chasing upside, he does have it. And he's cheap, but like Strider is so much. Strider's $200 more, so play Strider.
Yeah, okay.
Ronzi's a good pitcher. Like, he's a legit prospect, and he's really good right now. But the matchup's just so terrible, and there's so many pitchers on this slate. I just don't see there any reason.
In the interest of full disclosure, I have the same number of Ronzi lineups as Musgrove lineups, 2 and 2 out of my 60.
Right. Okay. All right. Good stuff, guys.
And Musgrove is better than Ronzi.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's go position by position here. We'll kind of work our way around the horn. Carty gets salty if I start with him at catcher. So I'm trying to be nice to him. He's still mad at me over a song thing. So Cheese, you can go first if you don't mind and start us off with some catcher talk.
Yeah. Catcher's good.
Okay.
Sal Perez is one of my favorite plays on the slate at any position. And I like him on FanDuel as well. I like Dalton Varsho a lot. I like Will Smith a lot. That's 3 guys I legit really like all 3 of them. I think they're worth spending on. Grandal is fine, cheaper. Sam Huff is fine if you need something below 3K on DraftKings. Otherwise, pretty much in a stack.
Okay, and Cheese on FanDuel. Are there any of these guys? I imagine first base is loaded as well.
Sal Perez. I like Sal Perez as much as the first baseman.
Wow, okay, good stuff. Carty, catcher.
Yeah, like Cheese said, there's a lot of viable options here. I don't think there's any that really sticks out above the rest, like Salvador Perez, Varsho, Will Smith, Wilson Contreras. Contreras is actually, I think, really, really interesting in GPPs. No one's going to think about playing him against Severino, but you get your leverage. It's catcher. It's a great power park. So I like Contreras a lot in GPPs, but in cash, I think you're probably either just going like all the way up to like a Varsho or a Salvador Perez. Or Cheese mentioned Sam Huff. He's the guy that I really like, especially if you're going double aces, like if you're not going Strider, but even if you are going Strider. Sam Huff at 2.8K, he's hitting 5th for Texas tonight. I mentioned liking them when I talked about stacks. Like, this is a sneaky good spot. First, it's a big park upgrade. It's the best, probably, I can't remember, first or second best home run park in baseball. Ronaldo Lopez is opening, but coming in behind him most likely is Davis Martin, who is one of the stone worst pitchers that will make a start in Major League Baseball this year.
Okay, excellent.
I know you're not supposed to trust a guy with 2 first names. What about 2 last names? Davis Martin. I don't trust that at all.
I trust him even less. Yeah, that's worse than 2 firsts. Okay, Carty, take us to first base, please.
Yeah, so First base, there's a lot. There's not like a right answer here. Vlad Guerrero is really good. You know, we mentioned Toronto being chalky today, and I think Vlad is probably, you know, good chalk. You don't have to play him because there are so many other options, but he's the best. Freddie Freeman for the Dodgers is really good. On DraftKings, where he's first base outfield, Shohei Ohtani, I think is very much in the mix here. Probably a really good GPP option. And then you have at a lower price point, but a similar projection is Rowdy Tellez. He's 3.6 on DraftKings. He's 3K on FanDuel. It's a good spot for him against Eric Fetty. He's a good power hitter. You know, his skills translate well to DFS scoring. And so I like him quite a bit, particularly on FanDuel, but also on DraftKings. And I think I'd throw Jake Cronenworth into the mix also because the Padres are in kind of a sneaky good spot and they're all well priced.
Okay, excellent. Cheese, first base.
Yeah, Tellez and Vlad are going to be the chalk. And I think it's good chalk on both ends to spend up Vlad and Tellez is the value. You know, DraftKings wise, Mountcastle and Luke Vogt are cheap options if you want. We've got cheap Phillies. Like the Phillies Diamondbacks game is one of those. I can find plays from that game everywhere. And so like a guy like Hoskins is just kind of sitting there pretty close to Tellez in salary. And I like him as well.
Second base, please.
On FanDuel, Max Muncy is super cheap and one of the chalkier plays on the slate, but that looks like good chalk to me. I do like spending up to Trevor Story to be different. We're still waiting on that Boston lineup. I'm assuming they're full strength. To me, that's a good spend up. DraftKings wise, you might consider punting here. Like the spend ups are good, but they're pricey. And Muncy is my favorite, and he won't be chalk on DraftKings like he will on FanDuel. We've got like Brujan for Tampa is 2,200. Duran for Texas is minimum salary. Odor 2,900. I think this is a very reasonable punt spot, whether in stacks as a one-off, in cash, in anything.
Okay, Carty, second base.
Yeah, I'm on board with what she said. Muncy on FanDuel is kind of a must. Marcus Semien, I think, is also a good play over there. On DraftKings, I mentioned Cronenworth at first. Probably makes more sense at second, though. I like him quite a bit, and I like the two cheap guys that Cheese mentioned. Brujan and Ezekiel Duran, I think, are both going to be great ways to save money here.
Third base.
Yeah, so Muncy does qualify at third. Also, probably better as a second baseman, but he's still a really good play. On FanDuel, JD Davis is, again, we don't have a Mets lineup yet, but we would imagine he'd probably be hitting in the middle somewhere. I think we have him projected hitting fourth against a lefty here, and he's 2.3K. And so that's a really nice price point. So he's a good play on FanDuel if you're not playing Muncy at third. Over on DraftKings, Jace Peterson is 2.4K for Milwaukee. They're one of the better offenses of the day. I believe Fetty's easy to steal on, so it's a solid stolen base spot for him. So I like Jace Peterson and Ezekiel Duran for Texas, who's 2K at second base. You can also play at third base. Those are kind of like, I think, the main options. And then you're playing guys, you know, you can play Manny Machado in your San Diego stacks or as a one-off, you know, that kind of thing.
All right, Cheese.
FanDuel, yeah, Muncy and Donaldson is also under 3K. I think Jose Ramirez is one of my favorite spend ups on the slate. Andre's sneaky home run call.
I was waiting for someone to mention.
Yeah.
Yes.
I especially on DraftKings where he's 6K, like that 6K barrier is really like it jars you, and I feel like
it's a mental
lowers
hurdle
ownership.
You see the 6K. Yeah.
Yeah, but I love Ramirez. Also agree with Machado. Devers is interesting to me. And Matt Chapman, I think he can play all the Blue Jays.
Shortstop, Cheese.
Another really good position up top with Turner, Seager, and Bichette and Bobby Witt. Those are my four favorites. I would say with the salary gap, I like Seager the best. But Bichette and Turner are wonderful spend ups if you're sitting on salary, but I don't feel like you're going to be. So Seager is going to be my favorite there. I would rather punt at second than punt at short, but you do have the same kind of guys. Like Brujan is also shortstop eligible. You got like, I don't know, Bryson Stott is down there. There's stuff down there if you want to punt it, but I would rather spend up here.
All right, Carty, take us to short.
Yeah, I'm of the same mind. I'd rather spend up. I think Corey Seager's basically the best play on the slate. Trey Turner's obviously right up there, but going to be more expensive. So I'd rather just take the savings, play Corey Seager. Turner, I like though in GPPs. I like him in Dodger stacks. Willie Adames is good. You know, we like the Brewers. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of cheap stuff that I really like here. Like Brujan's fine, but again, I'd rather go down at second than at short.
All right, then you get to go to the outfield. Carty.
All right. Let's see. So Cheese said at the beginning of the show, like Christian Yelich is going to be like one of the real chalks, and I guess Aaron Judge too. They're both good plays. I think I prefer Yelich, especially on FanDuel. He's 3.2K. He's way and on DraftKings, he's a lot cheaper too at 4K. So I think Yelich is kind of a must. I like Byron Buxton quite a bit. I like Ronald Acuna, even though it's against Roansy. Like I think it's a good spot, solid for stolen bases. I like him. I like Ohtani. I like Teoscar Hernandez. Kyle Schwarber, especially in GPPs, but even in cash at his price, I think is fine. Good good home run spot rather. Outfield always has like a billion guys to like. You can throw George Springer in the mix. You can throw, Mookie Betts obviously in the mix in your Dodger stacks. Like there's so much to like in the outfield.
Geez, you got a few favorites for me?
Yeah. The other FanDuel guy I'll throw out is Teoscar Hernandez. He's only 28 there versus 5K on DraftKings.
Oh.
And he'll be pretty chalky. Like the Yelich Teoscar combo on FanDuel. In fact, Judge Yelich Teoscar, like that's a very easy outfield to build. And I think that kind of creates your chalk. Stanton is also priced down a little bit there. Kind of DraftKings values. I'm playing a little Tyler O'Neill. And then you can go down to the 2K range. I have I'm trying to find my list here. Nomar Mazara, Friedel's leading off again. If Christian Arroyo's leading off, I like him. There's plenty of cheap stuff that you need on DraftKings. On FanDuel, you don't need to go below like that $2,800 range. Especially
because you're playing mostly Strider on FanDuel, or at least you think he's.
Yeah, but even if you're playing Musgrove or Severino, like $2,800 and up to like between 28 and 32, there's tons of really good hitters.
Gotcha. Okay, great stuff, guys. We have roughly 10 minutes here to take some QQs. Y'all ready? Yes. Okay. Get the nod.
Oh, yes.
Take that.
Oh,
okay.
yes.
Thank you. Verbal agreement. Let's see. Cheese, I'm starting with you. DK single entry, your preferred mini stack to go along with the Yankees full stack, Chicago or the Dodgers? That'd be the White Sox or the Dodgers to be.
Yeah, Dodgers.
All right. FanDuel single entry. Oh, hang on. We're rolling back to that one. Home run pick of the day. Carty, who is most likely to hit a home run today, or who's sneaky, cheaper, less likely, but still likely?
Sorry, I was trying to fix something with the bat. Home run pick of the day, you said?
Yep.
I think Corey Seager, again, like I can't overstate like how bad this Davis Martin guy is.
And how good Corey Seager is.
Corey Seager's not like a monster home run guy, but he's going into a great home run park. He's facing this really bad guy. So I think it's Corey Seager. In terms of like maybe a more like under the radar guy, Jesus, I'm looking at the bats projections. Cole Calhoun projects for like the 15th best chance of hitting a home run today in the same lineup. So he's certainly going to be off the board.
Okay. Cheese, you want to give me a home run pick or two?
Sal Perez.
Okay.
And heck, MJ Melendez.
I don't even know who that is. So that
the other catcher for the Royals.
I see. Okay, great. Cheese, FanDuel single entry. What's your lineup to take it down? Your stack?
Dodgers.
Okay, great. Scrolling down a little bit here. FanDuel, Carty in a GPP. Do you like McKenzie over Severino? They're close in price.
I mean, Severino's the better play, and he's going to be higher owned. If you're playing McKenzie, like you're understanding that you're giving up mean, but you're getting the ownership. So it depends. You can build a good lineup with either one. If you're playing Severino, don't play a chalky stack. If you're playing McKenzie, maybe you can play something a little chalkier.
Good answer. All right. FanDuel Cash. Cheese, Adames, and Springer, or Seager and Stanton. Seager and Stanton sounds so good. I can't imagine that's not it.
That is it for me, Seager Stanton.
Yeah. DKGPP, am I nuts for stacking Arizona in a deep field GPP? First, Cheese, did you stack any Arizona?
I don't even think you're nuts for doing it in not even a large field. So I told you I made the 15 stacks, and I kind of started with my most important lineups. The first one I made was Arizona.
Oh, I love it.
For whatever that's worth.
Carty, you have any Arizona?
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong to play Arizona. I do think there's a number of better teams.
Okay. Carty, DK Cash, Will Smith and Tellez, or Huff and Vlad?
Huff and Vlad.
DY says, Cheese, in a DK GPP, what are your thoughts on a late night stack with the Giants since Ferris hasn't been pitching up to his high standards the past few games?
They are.
He's not, never mind. I'm not going to go on a Bueller rant, but I love that the impression of Bueller is like, he just hasn't been as good lately.
Yeah.
He's just actually not.
He's just not like, he's an average pitcher. I think yes. Giant stack. Yes. I like the Giant stack.
So Ferris is like Ferris Bueller's day off. It's Walker Bueller.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm just like, it's just clicking here. Okay. I was confused by that name, but okay. I got it. FanDuel Cash 3v3. Cheese, Salvi, J-Ram, and Adames. Well, that sounds nice. Or Vlad, Donaldson, and Bobby Witt.
Whew, those are, that's the problem with this slate. Like, those are both absolutely fantastic. I would go Vladdy, Donaldson, Witt, but flip your coin.
Yeah. Okay. Mark Flores says, Carty, Friedel or Oscar Gonzalez on DK, both 2K. Who's the better one-off?
I got to pull up a projection for that. I can't tell you either one was like super on my
on your radar, if you will.
Project like almost exactly the same. Oscar projects like just a hair more.
Okay. Cheese, do you have a lean either way?
I lean Friedel.
Okay. Cheese, how wild is a Minnesota stack? Minnesota Wild is a team, right? How wild is a Minnesota stack DK single entry with Hill and Strider as a pitcher pairing?
So Hill is not on my board one iota. If you like him, that's fine. If you're just doing it to be different, I would say on this slate, just playing Minnesota, you're already so different. Like, don't feel like you have to pick a weird pitcher if you're stacking Minnesota. I do like a Minnesota stack with Strider. Personally, I'm not on Hill.
Okay, great answer.
Especially a guy who's just like, he doesn't go deep into games just by design. Like Hill is, I think any Hill lineup is basically dead tonight.
Oh, okay, good stuff, guys. FanDuel GPP Carty, can I get your thoughts on a 4-man White Sox stack with Toronto?
Yeah, I mean, again, there's very few offenses that I'm going to tell you can't play. I think the White Sox are perfectly viable. Depending who you have as your pitcher, it should be different enough, I would think.
Yeah. All right. Cheese, you like Belly in a GPP?
Very much, and very good, like a good price range where like he's the pivot off of a Chalky or Yelich at a similar price.
All right. DK single entry Carty, Freeman and Jake Berga, or Mountcastle and Muncy?
It's probably Mountcastle, Muncy.
All right. Cheesy Ice Cream Boy. Cheesy Ice Cream Boy is how you were addressed here, which is accurate.
I accept that.
Right. Do you like, this is a 3v3 in a large field FanDuel GPP, and he adds, thank you, young man, to the end of it. Castellan, that dude, Stott or Severino, or Strider, Harper, and a one-off Toy Story.
I like Strider, Harper, Story.
Okay, great. Carty, would you do a 5-3 Rangers Dodgers? This is DK tournaments. Would you prefer a 5-3 Rangers Dodgers, a 5-3 Dodgers Ranges, or is a 4-4 a good way to go on DK?
Yeah, I mean, you can't go wrong either way. I guess I'd probably say 5-3 Dodgers Rangers, but if you want to reverse it, like that's fine too.
Okay. What is the better nickname for Walker Buehler, Ferris or Texas Ranger? I like Texas Ranger, but they're both fantastic. They're both,
I like Ferris.
Yeah, they're both really, really good nicknames.
I think it's like if you like Walker Buehler, I think you go with Walker Texas Ranger. If you kind of don't like him, I think you go Ferris.
Yeah, that's right.
And Carty and are on the Ferris side.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like that. All right. More FanDuel Cash. This is a 2v2v2, Carty. Teles Schwartz, Kirk Springer, or Salvi Stanton?
It's probably Teles Schwarber.
Okay, great. DKSP2. He doesn't say if it's cash or GPP. Barrios or Contreras, Cheese?
Barrios.
Okay, great. DKGPP, Carty. Vlad one-off or Donaldson in a mini stack with Judge and Stanton?
Do Donaldson with your stack.
Great. Danjan. Barrios Strider, a better adjustment. Oh, okay, this is from an earlier question.
That's from his when he had Hill in there.
Yeah.
That's yes.
Okay, great. 2v2 Cheese. Next to McKinsey and Jay's 5-man stack on a GPP, you like Strider Buxton or Barrios Schwarbs?
Strider Buxton.
Okay. Eric Allen bringing up a very good point, which is there is a Steele Walker who plays for the Rangers. Thus, Walker Texas Ranger is already taken. So.
Is it really though? If his first name is Steele, because there's a lot of other ways you can go with that.
Yeah, Man of Steel Walker.
Yeah. There's plenty of ways. Hey, we actually caught up on all the questions. You guys are doing a great job. We've got roughly 1 minute or so until lock. So if you've got some questions
on these lineups too, Carty, do you have any concept? Have you heard anything about if Pete Alonso is coming back tonight?
I have not heard anything.
Yeah, I do like the Mets, and that's obviously just a wildly different build.
I'm sorry, what was that, Steve?
Perfect.
Okay. Good info. All right.
Thank you.
Is his nickname Polar Bear Pete, or am I completely making that up?
I think he's the Polar Bear. I think.
That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if it's Polar Bear Pete.
Right.
But yes.
Okay. Just Polar Bear, not Polar Bear Pete. Just Facebook. Not. Okay. Raymond says FanDuel GPP last in Arroyo, L Gurriel, or H Ramirez. Cheese.
I'd go Arroyo, but I kind of like all those guys.
Beaner says, how do you guys like lefties from Philly against Gallon?
I like him, especially in GPPs.
Excellent. Any love for Jake Burga tonight as a one-off? Cheese, you eating a burger tonight?
I mean, he's not that much on the one-off list. I mean, it's fine. He's cheap but just barely.
Okay. DY says, DKGPP, do you trust Brandon Crawford being that he was a late scratch on Wednesday and just pinch hit last night?
I just simply go if he's starting, which he is, then I trust him. You got to just trust the team on that. If he's playing, he's playing.
Yeah. Okay. DKGPP, DJLM, DJ LeMahieu, got him. And Bruhan, it could be.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe that's a dude. Yeah, Bruhan. Okay. DJ LeMahieu and Bruhan. Cheese, I'm giving this to you. Or Donaldson and Duran.
Donaldson, Duran.
Aside, Carty, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your vote of confidence for Berrios in FanDuel Cash?
Negative 16,000.
Wow, that's not. Is it?
It's a 1 then. Don't play Berrios in FanDuel Cash. He's like the 15th best pitcher on the slate. You're not really getting a discount. Just don't do it.
Okay. All right. More with an afterlock question, which is good timing because we just hit the lock. Who ruins this plus 12,000 RBI parlay? There was a lot of zeros. I had to squint. Plus 12,000 RBI parlay. Who ruins it, Cheese? Judge, Yelly, J-Ram, Schwarbs, Teoscar, Seager.
Yelich. I mean, the leadoff guy for an RBI is a risky play.
It's true. He's got to go yak in his first at bat and just take care
I mean,
of that.
I mean, he still has a good. I mean, Milwaukee is a team that could go nuts, and I do like him. But if I had to pick one of those guys, I would say him.
Okay, good answer. Somebody asked, "Hey, Roth, any weather edge spots going nuts?" And I hadn't checked. New York above average. Minnesota pretty nice.
I would think Atlanta's probably one of the better ones.
Yeah, it's just that, it's compared to itself. So while compared to other places, Atlanta's great. Compared to itself, it is slightly better than average. It's low 80s and a light wind blowing out to left. Yeah. So there you go. Nothing that's like woo, but a few little bumps there. Can't even read Pete's other nickname, but it's better. It's better than Polar Bear Pete. I'll tell you that. Okay. We'll take a few more questions before we get out of here. DKGPP, what are your thoughts on a mini Met stack, Carty, mini Met stack on Escobar, Lindor, and Canha, assuming Polar Bear Pete is out?
I mean, they're fine. They wouldn't be the first team I'm looking at, but they're fine.
Okay. Travis Becker. I thought it was Travis Barker, but Travis Becker says DK single entry GPP, Orioles stack or Padres stack?
I'm a fan of both. They're right both around that kind of like 5 to 10 area. I would say Padres.
Okay. Dan Jen says you guys are the absolute best. I concur. You guys are the absolute best. Me too.
That's what he meant.
That's yeah.
You're one of you guys. You are
probably
the main guy of the you guys. Probably.
It's likely. Yeah. Let's see. John Tom says I miss Carty's pitchers. Who did he like in that mid tier? Like McKenzie, Ashby, somebody else?
Yeah, I mean we're talking for GPPs here, but I don't like Barrios at his ownership because he's probably a little worse than all these guys and too high owned. I like McKenzie. I like Garcia. I like Castillo. I like Kyle Gibson. I think Ashby's fine, but I do worry that his leash isn't as long as some of these other guys, and I don't think he's necessary. But I think Ashby's okay.
Okay. Are either of you gentlemen going to watch the Adam Sandler sports agent basketball movie on Netflix?
Almost definitely not.
I just saw that. I hadn't heard of that until like 10 minutes before the show. I saw someone tweet about it. Like, as long as someone promises me it's not as horrendously horrible as that Uncut Gems nonsense movie, I will watch it. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Ah, okay. It's a strong take on Uncut Gems. I thought it was like fine, maybe even a
Did
little
you?
above average. Yeah, I thought it was fun. I was like,
I haven't seen
I mean,
it.
Kevin Garnett
It's
was
a
great.
Fantastic movie. It probably has like 90 tomatoes, doesn't it?
Which Uncut Gems?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
that
think it
is
did
a terrible judge of how good a movie is.
I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed that movie. It wasn't.
It might have been good in its own way. In fact, it was good in its own way. I found it incredibly annoying to watch.
Yeah.
Like it bothered me. Like I hated it in that way. That's the way in which it bothered me.
Okay. Well, this one looks pretty good. Watch the teaser, the trailer or whatever for it. It looks pretty good. And you've got real NBA players in it as well. And I think the main star, the main actor, other than Adam Sandler, is Juancho Hernan Gomez, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And as you are a big NBA fan, Cheese.
Right. I mean, I've heard of that guy because the one time I saw that guy's name on Lineup HQ, I was like, I've got to play Juancho.
Yeah. Gotta play the name to Juancho. All right. A couple more questions and we'll get out of here. Cheese, can you rank these outfielders for tonight? Judge, Bryce, Mookie. Oh, good Lord. Maybe give us your three favorites of these. Judge, Bryce, Mookie, Acuna, Alvarez.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Judge is my favorite.
Okay.
And everyone's favorite, if that is a concern to you. I would say Alvarez next and then Acuna. Okay. But I mean, love all of them.
Okay. Good stuff. Yeah, Cheese, you should watch that movie. Carty, you seem you're just fully out.
Yeah. I'll definitely.
Adam Sandler hasn't made a non-cringeworthy comedy in like 20 years. Especially, have you seen any of his other Netflix ones? They are like straight up the worst thing.
Can I pause you?
Tell me you're going to talk about the tomato meter. because this tells the entire story. We've talked about this with other movies where the best movies are the ones with low critic scores and high audience scores. Uncut Gems, high critic, low audience. That tells the story. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was actually horrible. It was awesome.
That was a story that was good, but you probably didn't appreciate it.
Right.
No, you're right. I fully agree. This new movie, by the way, is supposed to, critics and the people are all about it. It's
actually supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's actually supposed to be good.
Okay.
So
maybe I'll
check
give it a shot then.
Wait.
And as far as what Rocky Raccoon said, Uncut Gems was supposed to bother you, but it wasn't supposed to annoy you to the point of not liking it. Like, you're supposed to feel the pain and struggle of his character, which he acted it well enough to do that. But the whole way it was filmed and everything, I just hated it. I think I've made that clear.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that Sandler didn't do a great job of what he was supposed to do. I think he did.
Yeah. I feel like we've done all the things here. We've even had our debates on movies and such. We didn't talk ice cream, but we can save that for another day, another week. So I think it's time to get on out of here for Cheese, for Carty, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.